7 o'clock in St. Louis. You're listening to TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne. Doug, look who's back. It's little Jackie Papers.
I saw him sitting over there. Hello, Libby Jack.
Hey, Doug. Boy, have I missed that face.
Wow, what is that supposed to mean?
So how was the trip?
Oh, it was wonderful. Truly. I had such a great time.
You thinking about moving there?
Pretty seasonal. Pretty seasonal place.
All right.
But in season.
What were the temperatures?
About mid to low 70s with that nice cool breeze coming off the water.
Bill.
Same thing we had.
And you can feel the old money.
Yeah, you can smell the private equity.
What would it cost you to get a 2- or 3-bedroom bungalow there? Live there peacefully the rest of your life?
Pretty pricey. And again, you're probably only using it 2 to 3 months of the year.
They don't live there in the winter?
I wouldn't.
You said off air that you can't tell the difference between Cape Cod and the Lake of the Ozarks. So if you had to choose between one.
Oh, man. It's a really tough call. Not as many cigarette boats. I was like, what is this, a sail on that boat? Losers.
Oh.
Good for you.
Put some horsepower on that.
Have you ever done sailing? That's work. Sailing.
Telling me. Oh, man.
Even if you're the guest, like, okay, over there, go let it.
Duck your head. Yeah.
Undo that one. Like, what? I just wanna
Let's
go
quarter
for a
into the
ride.
wind. Stop it.
I don't
Where's
like
my deck shoes?
I will say, Lake of the Ozarks, a lot more docks. A lot more personal docks. Everyone just...
Shooters 21.
What's your favorite mile marker, dude?
I don't know much, but I know that they all park their boats and just like in the Sound in Cape in Massachusetts. They just park their boat. There's like 1 million boats in the middle of the water, anchored
And
down.
then take a dinghy in from there.
Yeah, as opposed to like personal docks at Lake of the Ozarks. There's a main difference.
Well, it could be their boats are too big to dock close to the
That too.
shore.
That too.
How was the place you stayed?
Oh, super cool. I'll show you guys pictures in a break. It's like a giant farmhouse kind of thing.
I like that.
It was just a bunch of men in a farmhouse.
It was very Little House on the Prairie. Like I felt.
Oh, you remember that? Michael Landon?
I do.
Laura Ingalls Wilder?
Yes, I've...
And
Melissa
Deacon
Gilbert?
Jones. I know there was a former Ram in there. It was Deacon Jones?
No, I believe it was
Deacon 75, right?
Fred Dreyer.
Father Murphy.
Hunter. Merlin Olsen.
Merlin Olsen.
Martin, he's also in Hoke.
Is that right?
Yeah, everybody is in Hoke.
Sold a lot of flowers. Didn't see that coming. Mr. Olsen was the grouchy grocery guy.
I didn't know Deacon Jones was
Mrs.
a Little
Olsen.
House on
No,
the
actually,
Prairie.
Mr. Olsen. I apologize. Mr. Olsen was polite. Mrs. Olsen was kind of a grouch.
Merlin Olsen was very soft-spoken, fantastic NFL analyst on TV, and just one of the meanest, most ferocious defensive tackles the league has ever seen.
No, this place was really, really cool. It was big. It was really nice, but it felt like it was ripe for a haunting. Very old. A lot of very small rocking chairs. That was,
Like a Cracker Barrel.
like a 1880s Cracker Barrel.
Did Sweet Kai and his bride stay in the farmhouse with you and your boys?
No, so where the actual wedding was at like their kind of like beach house rental that they got.
Sweet Kai has already acquired a beach house in Cape Cod with his golf grounds crew money?
I think they
God,
did.
we need to go start working the bunkers up in Cape Cod.
Tim, we'd get him on, but you can't hear him because he's got the blower attached to his back.
No,
He has a rental place.
It was a rental, yeah. They just rented it for the week.
So when you were in this farmhouse, how many sodbusters were there with you?
9 or 10.
Oh.
It was a huge house.
Oh, was
huge.
it?
Yeah.
Just 9 or 10 guys?
That wasn't guy. There was guys and girls.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well,
Girls have cooties.
big time. No
A
doubt.
little awkward when you're in the bathroom. Hey, let's go. I got to brush my teeth.
More than enough
Doing my hair.
bathrooms. Yeah. Yeah, that's always tough. You fight
Did
through
anybody have dates?
it. Some people brought their wives. So as if they were married, yeah.
And you called them losers.
No. I
All
tried
those
to be as
people,
cordial.
all people with sales are losers.
Yeah, that's why that was the Lake of the Ozarks in me was saying.
Yeah, I got you. You were defending your Missouri
Yeah, I was like,
roots.
this is nice, beautiful estates and cool breeze.
Get
Some
a
money
jet
around
ski,
here.
jackass.
Where's the cigarette boats, Where's the fun?
I've never been on a cigarette boat, and I'd like to do it once.
Okay. Cigarette
Great.
I
boat
wouldn't mind
people
driving
text
around.
in.
Sure.
How many knots they go, I don't know, but it's fast.
I guess Arbor Day has acquired a copy of the invitation to the wedding.
Oh, wow.
It says, hey, guys, want to spend a few grand on my wedding, not bring a date, and sleep in a barn with a bunch of turf jockeys? Doug, that's what they're called, turf jockeys.
I also didn't
That's
spend
the-
thousands of dollars. That's nonsense. They did a very good job of taking care of it. It was
did they?
awesome. Yes.
Did you get effed up on boat drinks?
Friday night, yeah.
Did you really?
After it. Not,
We were worried
not on
about
boat
you.
drinks. Not on boat drinks, but I
Were you
did get
drinking
after it.
scotch?
A lot of gin and tonics.
Yeah.
A lot of gin and tonics. A lot of cold beer.
Really?
Yeah. But I did.
I like how you
did get
specified it was cold.
I
beer.
noticed that too, Martin.
I felt like
Because
that
the
was
rest
more,
of us love warm beer.
Sounds better.
well, I felt like it was pretty folksy, you know, like an old wall drugstore advertisement. Ice cold beer sold here.
Did you see the recovering alcoholic from Belleville and Webster Groves because he was getting prima nocta?
I was on the lookout for any ne'er-do-wells. Didn't see any. There was, so the wedding was beautiful. It was awesome. It was right there, backyard, beach in the background, ocean water. But there was like a family splashing around on the side, making way too much noise while the wedding was going on.
Oh, no way, really?
That felt like a little Lake of the Ozarks comes to,
Oh,
comes to
you
the
catch
K.
that right there? No!
Had a little dash of Hoosier in it, did they?
Yeah, some yelling. That was kind of funny. But
And
the
do a
wedding was
wedding
cool.
over here.
Exactly. I was like, do we have to go over there and put a finger in their chest? But no, it was totally cool. It was
Wedding
a
Herb.
gorgeous wedding. What's up?
Herb could have gone over there, taken care of that.
Herb wasn't in attendance because he doesn't really know this guy.
Oh well, then
That'd be the core reason.
I might be the fulcrum point to all my friends, but that doesn't mean all my friends know
Do
each
you have a
other.
problem with that term,
I
fulcrum
didn't like
point?
it. I didn't like it at all.
Why do you hate simple machines?
I just
Levers
feel
and
like you're
pulleys and
talking
such.
over our heads.
Yeah, you're right.
Infidelity stew. Oh, man, how long on awkwardness and shy on eye contact was that continental pay what you can breakfast the morning after the reception? That's from Arbor
pay
Day.
what you can.
Pay what you can. That's funny.
The self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom, was she there? Because it sounds like, based on what she's texting in, that she was there. Doug, the self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom, a part of the Real Housewives of TMA, says, Jackson, hope you had a wonderful time up in Cape Cod. Did you find your way into anybody's mouth? What does that mean, Doug? Did you find your way into anybody's mouth?
I don't know.
No. Monogamy over here.
Marty monogamy.
Marty
Morning,
monogamy.
tall,
No
blonde one.
nonsense.
Were you in anyone's mouth up east? Nom, nom. You like that?
No.
No, I
nom.
don't care for that.
Nobody's mouth.
Clip that
that
off.
off.
314-399-9646. Doug, would you like to hear about the Stiefel dossier?
Sure.
I'll yield the floor to our representative from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, back to spend a little time with the common folk in flyover territory. Little Jackie Papers, what do we have? Because it's a big day for the St. Louis Blues as we celebrate a St. Louis Cardinals win.
Oh, we'll have Chris Zimmerman from the Blues and Steve Chapman as well in the 9 o'clock hour.
Doug, the big unveiling.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Big unveiling. And they'll be on to talk about it right here on 101 ESPN. The 9 o'clock hour, about 9 o'clock, Chris Zimmerman, about 9:30 for Steve Chapman.
Steve Chapman is bringing in the new sweaters.
Oh, great.
Road
I've heard-
and home. They've redone road and
Doug,
home.
that's going to make you happy. You want a white sweater at home.
Yeah, I think the whole league should do that. Wear white at home and let the other team's
What if
colors
they
shine when they're
didn't?
here.
Are we going to have some awkward radio since we're the rights holders?
Well, I imagine that's a league decision rather than a team decision.
I would
They
agree.
work with the team a little bit, the league and team, but they also have tweaked the logo.
I'm
So
fired
all of
up.
the above.
Yeah.
I'm afraid if they're the only team that were to wear white at home, then they'd never get to wear their dark uniforms.
Right. The Cowboys get to have that in the NFL,
Yeah.
where everyone adjusts to them.
And rarely wear their blue, which looks very cool, too,
I
by the
agree.
way.
I agree. Big agree.
Self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom was not in Cape Cod. I apologize. Good seeing you big boys at the Plow wedding. Doug, you left your monogram jockstrap in room 812. You
I
have
did.
a monogram
Doggone
jockstrap.
Couldn't find it. I didn't know where it was.
812.
Thank you.
812. That was in the haunted farmhouse.
Okay.
How was the Plow wedding? Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah?
Very
Doug
good.
did a wonderful job as
knew
the
he would.
officiant.
Knew he
He
would.
really did. The vows that the Plowhawk and Madison wrote to each other, truly splendid.
that's awesome.
Plowhawk ad-libbing, Madison, beautiful, and it was a pony.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
I got to sit next to Ken Iggy Strode
Hell yeah.
at the and Doug's wife and my wife, and a wonderful gala, Doug, was had by all.
Iggy was the second person in the wedding wearing all white.
That's correct.
So the bride is all white,
Right.
and then Iggy, not to show her,
All white.
He wore a white suit.
Yes, he did. With
kind of a
with
Stephen
pink
A.
quarter
NBA
zip
Finals
all the way
move.
up to his chin.
Daddy
He was
Padre
styling.
is not happy with the the announcement, he says they already leaked.
Great.
Well, that's okay. Doesn't make it any less interesting or compelling that they have a new uniform.
I think the majority of people don't know, right?
Probably not. It's not something you actively go looking for if you're...
Manupal Eligible says, I saw a leaked photo. The new anthracite note looks awesome. They have
It's not
anthracite?
anthracite. Let's hope it's not gray. The Blues aren't going gray.
Doug, you want to do a block B on the side of the helmet?
That'd be kind of cool.
I wouldn't mind it.
Rusty Pecker is not happy with Jackson for not being at the Plow wedding. Like you care, Jackson. You ditched your bro. That's from Rusty Pecker.
Yes.
I guess you could say that's one way of interpreting it.
And he gets to pick. This guy, Rusty Pecker, gets to pick what wedding you go to,
That's
by
right.
the way.
Rusty P.
Check in with him before you make a decision.
I usually, before any major life decision, check in with Rusty Pecker
Yeah.
or any of the texters, you know, because they know best.
Kitty Bates, which is the name of your cat.
Caddy. I need to put that in. Kitty isn't bad, but Caddy Bates.
Kitty Bates is in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat and not happy. Oh, great. Now we get a week's worth of Blues interviews to ask them about the, quote, new uniforms, end quote. Doug, why did new uniforms need to be in quotes?
They didn't need to
And
be.
it's an eye roll emoji. And he is not happy with the programming that he is forced to listen to.
That's right.
That's Kitty Bates, not Caddy Bates. Caddy Bates is the name of Jackson's.
Yeah, at least they're keeping it open for me. So
I
in
kind
case
of
I
like
do
Kitty
get a
Bates
cat,
better. It rolls off the tongue a little bit
it does.
better.
It rolls off. But I didn't say that in the moment. I feel bad now.
And Tim, is there a home somewhere where these people are chained and locked and then they pipe in TMA?
I believe,
as a-
Doug, there is a
That
home.
home is called prison.
A form of torture. And they have no choice but to listen.
We beat the Cubs! Stop talking about these losers' weddings! Doug, that's from the Gray Summit Gray Goose Guzzler, and he is not happy.
No one's happy. No one is thrilled.
I was doing the math. Since Papers was last here on this show, the Cardinals have gone 5-1.
How about that?
Yeah, how do you like it? I was keeping up with it as best I could over the weekend, but they didn't really have FanDuel Midwest, you know, on these Boston TVs.
We'll let you have it on your app?
Yeah, I was trying my best. Reception was spotty. Reception was spotty. I saw
Really? Like the wireless in Cape Cod's bad with the lack of cash in there?
this farmhouse, man. It was remote.
The ghosts were messing with your wireless.
I can't rule it out. But I saw the Saturday stuff with Ellie De La Cruz. Oh man, it was a hot one, Doug. That's
Little
Valley.
bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, there was a rainbow shower right there at shortstop.
Oh,
I saw some poor guy have to go scoop it up with a shovel.
Oh my God, nerds! If you don't want to listen, then listen to something else, damn it!
Oh.
That's from the Jeffco piss missile?
oh, gosh.
Doug, he's new?
He's new.
Tim, the top one now says more Blues talk, please. Jesus.
Doug, we will have Chris Zimmerman, we will have Steve Chapman, and we will have the new sweater in our possession in this studio in the 9 o'clock hour. That would be a good time to be on YouTube at youtube.com/TMASTL. That is how you can see it all. And plenty of friends are in there, like Jake Reynolds, JC Penny Chat Support, the Bridgeton Landfill Fume Huffer, and John Scores. And John Scores was saying, Jackson, is Jackson back today? I hope KG left instructions how to properly play drops. Chairman Kurt was playing drops left and right, and John Scores wants more drops out of you.
Oh, gosh.
See, I want it's similar to baseball.
Similar to baseball.
Chairman Kurt, I have no doubts you did nothing but a bang-up job in my stead. But, you know, when a guy goes out in a spot start and throws 13 Ks and 7 and 1 earned run, you're like, oh, man, let's get him a rotation. Once you get into that starter spot, you know, we're just out here getting quality starts left and right. We're just trying for some QSs, you know,
see.
just trying to limit damage.
Oh, so KG's McGreevy. He shoves, then he
Nice.
gets shipped out.
And he's kind of
Screw you.
he's a drop ball pitcher.
He is, yeah. He's throwing
And
that
you're more
hand.
of a power guy. He works the corners.
Right. Well, yeah, control. You know, I'm trying to dot up the corners, little paint job.
That's right.
It is 7:14 and haven't had one drop. I'm just pointing out. I'm just pointing out.
is over.
Just pointing out that KG had a drop.
He's going to have to grow up.
Okay.
Oh, Buck.
Told us to grow up.
I think he was talking about my dad being emotionally invested in Notre Dame football
He told
as a
him to grow
Subway
up.
alum.
That's exactly right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wide variety of ways for you to be involved in the program. Doug, I'm going to start with the Air Comfort Service text inbox.
Okay.
888-399-9646. Good news, we're a week away from you being able to get your name saved in the Air Comfort Service text inbox. Bad news for you, Jackson. Good news is we're off on the 4th of July, Independence Day. Bill Pullman.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
So that will reduce one of the days that you'll be updating the names.
Yep.
And then also you can call in. Pestis called in yesterday. You missed that unless you went back and podcast.
I did not. I didn't catch any of the program yesterday. I was with Sweet Kai yesterday morning.
He was texting in.
And he was saying the chairman was asking him to call in. I was like, let me be the first one to speak on this.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow.
You nixed a caller?
Oh.
We were begging for Sweet Kai. And
he was in no place to call.
Really?
Nah, that's not true. He was fine. I just felt it was best.
314-974-0101 is how you can call in the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Then you can email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com, and compete against the greats. Buck Swope has 3 wins this month. Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio has 2. Marlins Family Barbecue has 2. And then a wide variety of other listeners have 1 win. Only, 5 more shows here in the month of June. And you
That's
need
hard to
compete.
believe.
Yeah. Let's see. 5 more shows, month of June. 5 more Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. So email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Doug, if your air conditioning is not working right now, may Yahweh have mercy on your soul. Hotter than the fires of hell out there.
I know.
I am telling you. So if you need to get that air conditioning fixed, what you do is you work with Seth Goldcamp, who Martin works with, who I work with, who Doug works with, at DesignAirService.com. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, longest running sponsor on TMA. Any air conditioning issues while we deal with temperatures in the low to mid 90s through at least Friday, go to DesignAirService.com. They'll fix it. No upselling. Longest running sponsor on TMA, who you can count on. That's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at DesignAirService.com. The Cardinals do some shipping last night and do something that they haven't done for about 5 years. We'll have that in addition to some sound from the post game as the Cardinals beat the Cubs in the opener of the 4-game series. That is next here on TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen, 101 ESPN and the TMA YouTube channel. Doug, we have visions of October and November dancing in our heads here in St. Louis after the Cardinals defeated the Cubs last night by a score of 8-2. How do you do?
Well, I'm fine. May have been the biggest win of the season to date. One of them for sure. Great starting pitching from Liberatore. Timely hitting. Lopsided win. Didn't have to use the closer even.
Yep.
Yeah, really nice
A+
win.
across the board. I mean, the Liberatore
really
start was just outstanding. 7 innings and struck out 5. I'll tell you what, that double play at the end of the 5th, what a moment that was for Liberatore and the Cardinals, because the chain reaction that has on not only him being able to get through 7, but also the Cardinals not really going deep into their bullpen with O'Brien and Munoz finishing that game off. That's, of course, part of it. But then you had 4 2-run home runs from the Cardinals. Have not seen that since. Martin, did you see the statistic? I bet you did. I bet you did.
Is it the 2-run homers or the left-handed home runs? I've seen a couple of different stats. Fire off your stat. I did see, is yours 2013?
2020.
Okay.
Cardinals hit 4 2-run home runs in a game for the first time since doing it on September 10th, 2020 against the Tigers. Name the 4 hitters who hit the 4 2-run home runs.
I saw this one, so I cannot
Martin has
partake.
recused himself, and that is a man of honor.
How about Carpenter?
No.
How about Yachty?
Yes.
Did you say 2020, Tim?
Mm-hmm. It's a delay tactic. I'll give you a hit.
Think who else is on the
this
team.
guy was chastised for not hustling in a post-game press conference a week into the season after winning the starting job. Okay. This guy was traded for John Lester, and it was reverse engineered into being a brilliant move, even though the player they acquired for him was just trying to retire to get into a tree stand.
In the air, left field, and gone.
Natty Nat. Still playing decent ball, maybe in the American League Central.
Why am I drawing a blank on
First name is Lane.
Lane Thomas.
Yes.
Now, Tim, can I give him the initials on the next one?
Yeah,
and I'll
you might
still
be able
put
to give him the
$1
full
million
first name.
Okay.
R.R.
Nice.
Didn't they have a guy named Rangel?
Oh, my God, Martin. I would have lost a bankroll on this.
That's how kind of nondescript those teams were. They really didn't have anybody that stood out.
Players don't have to be overpaid.
Maybe that's why they didn't want to pay them.
I don't really recognize the 2020 season. I don't really remember it. If memory serves, the Cardinals played the Padres in the playoffs. I think it was a best-of-3 or something.
And they took the first
They
game.
did. Yeah. But other than that,
Then the Friars spanked them down.
yeah, then the Friars got him. Rangel Ravello.
Was it Rangel Ravello?
Rangel Ravello?
Rangel Ravello?
Yeah,
Something like that.
They
Yeah.
love the fans, not money.
And with that, the Cardinals beat the Cubs 8-2, first time in nearly 5 years. Jackie Papers, what do we have from the audio?
I got the call of all 4 of these home runs.
Oh,
Is it a
okay.
mashup?
It's a mashup.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought you guys liked that the last
Welcome
time.
back.
I'll run it back.
High fly ball to right field. Pretty well hit. Tucker back. It is long gone. 2-run homer, Lars Nootbaar. Swing drive. That's rifle to right. Tucker says goodbye. I like fireworks in St. Louis, too. Swing, high fly ball again, deep right. Tucker going back. That one's gone, too. Jim might have to make a run for more fireworks. The Cardinals powering up. Swing drive. That one rifle to right center. It's another 2-run homer.
Doug, I got a little grand finale.
Didn't mind it at all.
And then
That
Brendan
was nice.
Donovan almost hit a 5th. He got robbed by that PCA.
Yeah, that would have helped the Southside Seaman Fantasy Baseball Club.
Tim, more fun with numbers. Cardinals, 4 different left-handed hitters homering in a game. First time since
2013?
2013. Can you name the 4 Cardinals?
Matt Carpenter.
Carpenter's
Matt Carpenter's one.
Gone, and he took one from me.
Left-handed hitters homering, same game. One is still around.
Wow.
The club.
Wow.
In uniform.
Oh, Descalso.
No.
J.
John Jay, yes. Yes. I almost said initials J. John Jay. His wife went to St. Joe.
Give us a position.
Great hitter. Only here for a little period.
Berkman?
Could hit from both sides.
Beltran.
Yes. You guys are good. And then one more. I think he still lives here.
Still lives here.
Yeah. Not in this building, but yeah, in St. Louis, I think.
I need another clue.
They recently played his swing at the park, and it set off this future Hall of Famer for L.A.
Matt Adams!
Yeah, Matt Adams. You guys are good. Matt Adams, Matt Carpenter, John Jay, Carlos Beltran.
Okay.
That's going back. So you had all of that, and then Wilson Contreras gets 3 hits, and we don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
3 for 4.
And he'd been struggling. Good to see him back.
I was trying to figure out why they weren't happy in the Air Comfort Service text inbox.
Yeah, I know.
And Martin, if you take a look up at one of the 3 monitors here at 101 ESPN, you have been replaced by a wooden plank, and they are not happy about that,
Was that
in the Air
pine?
Comfort Service text inbox. I'm on the camera. Jackson's on the camera. Doug's on the camera. Martin has now been removed and is a wooden plank.
I believe it's pine, and it's
I
been
think
stained.
it's a sponsorship vehicle. We're doing something with a lumber company.
Right.
And I think Kiowski's sending a message, pal, you could be replaced by plywood. And there's the message right
Welcome
there.
back, kid. I literally just reset the YouTube because there was a giant
red screen of death.
Red screen of death. I just reset it, and it comes back, and Martin's camera is
It's all plywood.
MIA. So I'll reset it again in the commercial break. I don't want to reset it now because then I'll stop the YouTube during the show, and I
It's
don't
fine.
want to do that.
You don't need to see me. It's fine.
You could understand now how if the camera went bad, it would just be a black screen or a white screen or a scrambled screen. But plywood? Where does that come from?
That looks like solid oak, Doug.
Solid oak.
Yeah, that looks like some good lumber.
Okay.
Hey, Piddles, less talky, more droppy. That's from Iggy's crestfallen accountant.
Whatever. I'm working over here, man.
You can text in your attacks at 314-399-9646. You're welcome to call in 314-974-0101 and then look at the wooden plank at youtube.com/TMASTL and talk it over in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. Here is what Ali Marmol had to say following the Cardinals and the 4 home runs and Matthew Liberatore combining to get game 1 of this 4-game series with the Cubs as the Cardinals pick up a game on not just the Cubs but also the Brewers to move within 3.5 and tied for second place with Milwaukee.
Took some good swings. Early in that game, it was tough to see. Hitters kept coming in. The shadows were real. But as the game went on, I felt like we took some really good swings. But all the way throughout, I liked our approach against their starter, and we were able to get to him. But, yeah, some powerful swings, some homers. Loved every second of it.
There's a base knock.
I saw the skipper at a Boys and Girls Club golf outing yesterday.
Oh, they're right with y'all golf
Norwood
course.
Hills.
Ah, wonderful track, Doug.
Wonderful
You like
track.
the East Course or the West Course? better?
Either's fine.
The West is where they have the senior event, I believe.
That's right,
Don't call
right.
it the seniors, but they're all 60. They do tour champions. It's awkwardly phrased, feels inverted.
Yeah, the
Nonetheless. Nonetheless.
Jackson's
you
attracted
like
to
that,
Retief Goose and
Goose
Martin.
is loose.
And I saw Ollie in the afternoon, and we were talking about the big showdown, the series. And I said, boy, hopefully some folks show up. He goes, dude, it's hot down there. I'm like, I know, but I said, hopefully they show up. He goes, were you down there Saturday? I said, no. I mean, I wanted to be, but I had stuff and things.
Right, exposure.
He said, dude, it's really hot down there. They had 27,000 last night.
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I bet what it is that's they were thinking, you know, it'll get goose when it gets closer, and I think it got closer, and people are like, it's too hot. I'm not going to buy tickets and add on.
We were landing yesterday, got in around 10:15 p.m. last
Nonstop?
night. Yeah, nonstop.
Wow, late arrival.
Yeah, 10:15, and the pilot goes, it's 90 degrees local weather here in St. Louis. I was like, oh my God, it's 10:15 p.m. It's 91 degrees.
Brutal conditions.
But only 2 hours, 10 minutes to get through it. It ended at 8:56, I believe.
We're lucky enough in St. Louis to get the worst of southern weather in the summer and the worst of northern weather in the winter.
You never miss out.
No. Yeah.
And seemingly with no preparation.
No.
I felt like it was 62 degrees
Yeah.
last week at
You
some
knew it was
point.
And raining all the time.
Rain
and,
every day for 3 months and then 100 degrees.
That's what we got. So I think that when analyzing the attendance, it would be disingenuous to in my opinion, people, of course, are welcome to it, to say that this is another reflection of fans either not buying in or rejecting ownership or John Mozeliak. That is completely understandable, that people did not want to sit out in those conditions. That's how I view it. What do you guys see?
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think on a normal year, though, in the offseason where people weren't kind of down on the franchise, they probably would have sold a little more in advance for a Cubs game. But it's a Monday, not as exciting. But right, with the heat, I wouldn't take it as any kind of litmus test.
No, we sure could use a retractable roof. That is from the 314.
Sure could. We've had like 5 games in a row when a retractable roof would have brought in 40,000 fans.
Could have moved the game to Milwaukee, Doug. Had a neutral site game.
Just get started building that darn roof.
Awful.
Move it over to the Dome tonight. Play the game at the Dome.
That would be interesting. I'd be into that. One game
Turn
at the
into
Dome.
a wiffle ball game.
One
like
game.
a game at the Rangers ballpark.
Yeah, one game like the Rays.
Guys, will the Busman special on Thursday be the worst attended Cardinals-Cubs game in decades? That's from the 314.
I'd say yes, because it's supposed to be just as hot Thursday.
Yeah.
I'd say yes.
And you got the day game.
Well, the weather clearly, I think, is the overriding factor, but it's not the only factor. People are still just not convinced that this team is a contender. I don't think. Because in past years, we've had warm weather in the past years, but I still feel like the Cubs series would bring out a big audience.
On pace for what, about 88, 89 wins? Pestis had them at 95. I believe we've had to scale that back a little bit. That's a fun way to open a series, though. An important 4-game series. Not only to win, but you clock them. I was looking online and all these Cubs fans. I was on some Cubs thread, and they were just going off on Counsell saying brain dead, doesn't know when to take a pitcher out. I'm like, your team is 15, 16 games over 500. They've been in first for, what, months or so, and they're just going off on get Ben Brown out of the rotation, tell Counsell to wake up. They're just going nuts. I'm like, it's every fan base. There's going to be a fringe or a percentage that just hates everything. They did leave that pitcher out. They just left him out there to die in the heat, getting hammered. I guess their bullpen was beat up from Seattle, and Ben Brown had to wear it. And I was thinking of the Mike, was it Mike Myers or Myers? It was Mayers. Yeah. The Dodgers start Sunday Night Baseball.
Worst start in Major League history.
Big league debut. So I had to look it up. He went an inning and a third and gave up 9 runs.
At the time, at least, it was the worst start in Major League history.
I think there is some stat
worst
like
first
that.
Appearance.
Poor fellow, lefty. And everyone's like, oh, my God, they're just going to let him. Oh, my God, he's still out there.
When you look at this Cubs lineup, you don't say, oh, boy, there's a whole bunch of superstars over there. But some of the guys that haven't been stars in the league before are now, like Suzuki and Pete Crow Armstrong. These are not household names yet, but, boy, they're both having big years.
Well, that Crow Armstrong is kind of like an MVP-type candidate right now.
Yeah, he's the leading.
Jackson doesn't like his hair. That's okay.
I've been told he's changed it, so.
He's the leading vote getter for National League All-Star outfielders.
And that's a good example of the Cubs when they did sell off. That was Javi Baez. They got that.
Really?
They got PCA in return from the Mets.
The amount of beefy, safe Charles odor at the game must be stifling. You couldn't pay me to go there this week. That's from Doug's prison wallet. There's a poor fragrance at Busch Stadium this week?
It doesn't smell like St. Charles. No, it doesn't.
Oh, excuse me, I'm putting out a cigarette here.
When I was there Sunday, it was hotter than the fires of hell.
And what was the fragrance?
And the
cool water cologne?
No, it was just kind of musk. There's a lot of musk.
Okay, so you're starting to walk back to what the text just said, I think.
But the flags out in the outfield were flapping like the wind was really blowing, and you felt none of that in the stadium.
We drove past Busch Stadium en route to the Metro East, Martin, and I saw the flags. We were driving past. I go, my goodness, the wind is blowing out to left field like nobody's business. But you couldn't feel it in the ballpark at all?
Not where I was, no. Didn't feel a breeze at all.
You were in the green seats right behind the Reds dugout so you could see Ellie De La Cruz's rainbow shower.
Exactly right.
With all the hot air coming out of your mouth.
It was a well-played drop, Jackson. Well-played drop.
Nice going, Jay.
Lions trying to reform. I don't know. I think it's too damaged at this point.
See counseling.
Wounded.
That kid can play. He's a great center fielder with a beautiful swing. That's from the 870.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He's only 23. Be there for a while. Suzuki can really play, too. He's got 20 homers and 64 RBIs.
There was a text that said player development, except they got Kyle Tucker from the Astros. They signed Suzuki from overseas. They got Swanson from the Braves, and they got PCA from the Mets. Now, PCA did have to come through the minors, but it's not exactly a homegrown roster. That's all I would say.
And Carson Kelly's still playing. Remember, shortly after the deal with Goldschmidt, we were thinking, Kelly's not even going to be in the major leagues much longer. Here he is all these years later, still playing regularly for the most part. Got 9 home runs. He's been a solid player.
He was the guy in waiting for years and years. Like, Molina's going to play another year. Molina's going to play another year. Carson Kelly, still waiting.
Yeah.
Martin, this program, when Cardinals appear on it, they get a TMA bump. Alec Burleson is certainly in the midst of a TMA bump, Doug. And now they're just going to play him. And how can you not? He has been raked in May. He's even better in the month of June. And he hit last night his 9th home run.
Mm-hmm. It seems like every at-bat he hits the ball hard somewhere.
Yeah.
Or not all hits.
His barrel rate is sick.
He's really hitting the ball on the nose.
He's homered every other game since last Tuesday. An odd stat.
And Gorman hit one out yesterday. That's always encouraging when he does something. Still got his 2 strikeouts in, but he did hit a home run. So you'll take that.
Nolan Gorman got his eye back.
Well, that's what he hit.
Early got the bat to get it done.
He had a pre-TMA bump at one point, and now he's got the post-TMA bump.
You can get it on both sides, and that makes it
11
so nice.
hits, just pounded the Cub. Now McGreevy's back tonight. They did say there was going to be a 6-man rotation, and they kept shipping him out. I guess this is the model. Well, they'll just send him down, bring him back, send him down, bring him back. Friend of the show, Michael McGreevy.
It's a shame they really have to drive back to Memphis and then drive back up.
I wondered
Why
if
not just put him in a hotel here for a few
you know
days?
what, Doug? I like logistics, and I said to producer Dave last night, I wonder if McGreevy just stayed in town.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's no reason. You're not going to pitch in Memphis. Just hang around.
Like they give the AAA guys like a condo at Brentwood Forest.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Just hang around for a few. Just go to O.B. Clark's for a couple
I
days.
have extra room.
Stop by Jackson's.
There you go. There's
You're
a
offering
solution.
to put them up in your place?
Yeah, I'll take any Cardinal reliever.
You know, I'm going to be down there tomorrow. I'm going to ask McGreevy, unless he gets lit up tonight and doesn't really feel like talking, I'm going to ask McGreevy tomorrow some logistics.
Yeah. You'll have to pitch in for the energy bill, but that's about it.
Is this, 3-hour drive to Memphis? 3 or 4?
It's more, yeah.
It's not nothing.
Doug, you like to stop at Lambert's and throw those rolls?
Boy, there's some professional eaters in there. Holy smokes.
Do you think guys coming back up from Memphis are a little heavier than they came down?
There were people that needed a shoehorn just to get through the front door when I was there.
I've never been.
Oh.
Do they try and drill you like high and tight when you walk in the door?
However you want them to throw it at you, that's how they throw it at you.
Really? So give me the heat?
They might underhand it to you, or the guy will throw it clear across the room if you want.
I just feel like there's a lot of rolls that end up on the floor. And then you just give a 2-second roll.
When I was there, it was
Doug says
packed.
the crowd is not concerned about the floor.
No, it was
roll
packed.
hits floor, then hits mouth. Not a concern.
You're welcome to participate in the program. Text in, call in, email in, and you got the YouTube chat, which is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. JCPenney chat supports talking to Kitty Bates, who's talking to DJ Patty Cakes, who's talking to That's Called Taxes, Doug. You can participate as well on the program. At 9 o'clock, Chris Zimmerman of the Blues will be in for the unveiling of the Blues' new logo and sweaters. First time since 1997. And Jackson, you will tell them directly to their face whether or not the uniforms are good or bad.
Absolutely.
You will.
Unbiased.
I think you will.
Yep. Absolutely.
You would do that to the team president or the marketing guy?
All we
Steve
have,
Chapman will be bringing in the sweaters at 9:30.
All we have is our integrity.
Look at that, Doug.
Huh.
That's all we got.
Well, we have some.
Would you trade it for some free gear while they're here?
I'm not saying the integrity can't be purchased.
Okay.
But not here. Not here on these airwaves.
Yeah, that'd be Yola.
That would be Yola.
So there is your Stiefel dossier along with the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. The program's called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with the Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals win last night over the Cubs. Back in action today as they take on the Cubs again. 6:45 p.m. first pitch with Michael McGreevy taking the mound for the Cardinals. That was another Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Doug, guess the music theme that this little Jackie Papers is bringing now that he's back from Cape Cod and sweet, sweet Kai's wedding.
The theme, Too Hot to Go Outside.
Songs that would be played at a coffee house in Hyannis.
I don't know if this would fall into that category. A little upbeat. It's Mick Fleetwood's birthday.
All right.
You want to take a stab at the age?
Gee, many Christmas.
I'm going to go 77.
I'm going to go 78.
Yeah!
I think he's 80.
Doug nailed it, 78.
Wow. Was that Fleetwood's in Hawaii? Was that Maui, Tim? Maui in February 2020. And then later, that's all part of that area that burned. Was it Lahaina?
Oh, is that right?
Burned to the ground. But they had Fleetwood's and had all kinds of memorabilia and Fleetwood Mac gear, rock and roll gear.
Doug, it was always winter in his nostrils in the 80s.
His nostrils.
Hopefully.
Text in 314-399-9646 or call in 314-974-0101. And then you just go to youtube.com/TMASTL. And Martin, you are no longer a wooden plank.
Yeah, you're back.
I am, but the picture's back.
Yeah, you're back.
You're welcome to participate in the program in so many different ways. Here on the Stiefel dossier, Chris Zimmerman of the St. Louis Blues will be with us at 9 o'clock. The reason being the Blues are unveiling the new sweaters and the new logo today. And then Steve Chapman of the Blues marketing will be bringing in new sweaters for people to be able to see right here on the YouTube channel. So there you go, Doug. That's what's coming up. That's at 9:35.
Well, that'll be fun. I think people are looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Papers you have in segment 7-3 of your Stiefel dossier, Wilson Contreras knowledge. What do we have here?
Yeah, Contreras is ripping up the Cubs.
He was raking last night.
Ever since leaving, he 3 hits last night. He's now 22 for 63. That's 349 with 6 doubles and a homer against the Cubs since signing with the Cardinals as a free agent in the 2023 season. So, ups and downs in baseball. Wilson Contreras stays up on the Cubbies.
All right.
More catchers. More catchers.
You would like to see more?
I saw Pozo with a little walk-off.
He hits.
I felt so vindicated in that moment. Bring it more catchers.
That's why Pozo was here, because he hits. He can be used as a pinch hitter.
All the catchers do.
He looks like a hitter.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Big, solid guy.
Big time.
Takes a big swing.
That's my kind of baseball player.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed when Herrera went on the IL? Offensive, I'm sorry. I apologize. That they didn't call up a catcher to replace him.
Yeah, I thought that was BS. I thought, if you're going to lose a catcher, you have to at least replace him. If not, have 2 in his stead.
Right, and you want your catchers to have a good wide base.
The wider, the better.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's anything about actually hitting better against your old team. Are you saying that he doesn't get excited or prepared to face other teams, or he gets more prepared for the Cubs? I wonder if that's just a coincidence or what. I bet it is.
Occam's razor would tell you it's a coincidence.
Occam's razor, Doug.
Okay.
Yeah, the most likely outcome, probably a coincidence. But we know Wilson Contreras is a fiery competitor. And
I think knowing him, he's probably got a little extra.
A little fired up
for them.
Lars Nootbaar talked about something kind of similar in his post-game about playing the Cubs. You'd like to take a listen here?
Yeah, I'd love to if you could hit it.
You know, you want to play well, you know, all throughout the season, but, you know, when you have a team that's ahead of you, you can kind of, you know, make up ground a little bit faster than usual. You know, it seems like when we win ball games, we'll check the scores, and then they're winning ball games too. And so, you know, when we get to face each other, you know, you really get to go head to head, which is nice. And so, you know, test yourself against those guys. And so, you know, it's a fun series, and like you said, you know, it's a good chance for us, but at the same time, we still got, you know, 80-something left or whatever it is, you know, so you never want to wait, but, you know, so that's why, you know, playing good baseball always is important, but, you know, this is a good test for us early, and so glad that we can, you know, come in and get a win on the first one.
I can't help but ask what question, the question what song was playing.
Ooh, that's a good question right there, Tim.
I was listening to the content of the soundbite.
I was just waiting for the sound effect. Can you Shazam an audio that's in the background of the background?
Boy, that's a tough call. Probably.
Hit me with a little bit of that, and I'll go find it.
Okay. Look at this.
Right. Nootbaar has the voice of an old school FM DJ.
Yeah, he kind of does.
He's got a really smooth, deep voice.
Really smooth voice.
Mm-hmm. Can I get a little piece of that where there was some audio playing?
Let's take a listen.
You know, it's a fun series, and like you said, you know, it's a good chance for us, but at the same time, we still got, 80-something left or whatever it is, you know, so.
It sound like a song in Spanish?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. It's going to be tough for me personally to be able to track that one down.
Yeah.
Doug, the big dumper.
I love the big dumper.
Who was that again?
Boy, he
Cal
rakes.
Raleigh of the
that's right.
Seattle Mariners hit his 32nd home run in the 9th inning of the Mariners' win over the Twins last night. And it was his 4th straight game with a home run. He is now on pace to hit 40 home runs before the All-Star break. And that would break the record of 39 hit by Barry Bonds during the 2001 season, when Bonds finished with a single-season record of 73. Martin, are we replaying the summer of 1998 with Cal Raleigh in the Emerald City?
Well, the numbers would indicate we got to at least pay attention. Wouldn't it be kind of fun? As crazy as it is, just
28-year-old catcher.
Put all the focus on Seattle, and he's hit, 30 or more the last couple of years, so he's been a power guy, but this is outrageous.
It'd be kind of fun if a catcher that most of the country really didn't know became the all-time home run leader.
And is nicknamed the Big Dumper.
Yeah, you like that nickname, Doug?
I do, yeah, very much.
Do we know I'm afraid to ask, do we know the origin of the nickname?
Yeah, it's just because he's so well endowed on his backside.
Oh.
Okay.
6'2", 235, switch hitter.
They have T-shirts where it says "I heart Cal," but instead of a heart, it's a peach that looks like a giant ass.
Well, at some
I might
point,
get one of those.
if you're hitting like he's hitting, you're not going to want him catching, right? You don't want him to take a foul ball off the thumb and be out for 8 weeks. You may have to make him a DH, or maybe he's getting a lot of DH at bats now.
He initially did not like the nickname the Big Dumper, Doug.
I think so.
But has come to like it. He said he found it distasteful and was not fond of the focus on his physique.
Fair. Also, it's such a good nickname.
Well, it'd be kind of fun for the whole, and then the national news have to talk about it.
Cal Raleigh.
Good evening, NBC Nightly News. The Big Dumper moves closer to a baseball legend.
Cal Raleigh's Brady Anderson. That's from Eric in the Central West End. He is not enjoying it.
I don't know. The difference with he and the year Bonds had is Bonds got walked about every other time he came to the plate. Still had all those home runs. Remember when teams just couldn't pitch to him? There was nothing you could throw past him. Absolutely nothing. That was the most amazing hitting display I think we'll ever see in our lifetimes.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
They're like walking in with like bases loaded. Right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we don't want 4 runs to score. 1 is okay.
Guys, question, if these Memphis guys are starting to stay at Jackson's place, would that make him a billet boy? That's from the Swing Haven board member.
Yeah, more or less.
I think billet boy?
I think this would be a great development. Like, I'll host Cardinal players while they replenish the bullpen, and you can just stay with me for a little bit.
Sure.
We'll watch ball games. I'll need to wet my beak.
Oh, you're going to want pay.
Maybe tickets, something. I'm going to be doing this.
Well, be careful, because you're not allowed to operate a business out of this apartment you're leasing. You need a business license for
Shout out to the Plowhawk.
Yes.
That was referenced in their wedding vows on Saturday.
That's it, really?
While you were in Cape Cod.
That's awesome.
They got thrown out of their first apartment together because they rented out their
Was that the first one they had together? Wow. Wow. What a story.
They got bounced.
And now
because it was discussed on the air? Is that why it was
revealed?
Martin.
Because it was revealed on the air? Is that how
he
it
said
started?
he was going to do it. I thought, that's funny. So I told Channel 4, they said, yeah, that'd be a good story. So they went and did the story, and then the landlord saw it and evicted him.
This is in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat right now, youtube.com/TMASTL. Tim had Design Air out yesterday. They did great work as always. As a public service announcement, please let everyone know to ask for Larry, the technician, if you like your HVAC techs who are silver foxes. Doug, Larry, he's a silver fox at Design Air.
It is the home of the handsome repairman.
Hello, St. Louis.
That's a different Larry. Jackson won't let that one on the air.
But it's his day. This is his day.
The door is open.
Larry Nickel, you can call in 314-974-0101 and get involved on this program, which is presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Brown and Crouppen is online at brownandcrouppen.com. Who's coming in today?
I believe we're going to do their appearance later in the week.
Oh, okay. Very good, Doug. Brown and Crouppen, brownandcrouppen.com, 314-222-2222. That's Brown and Crouppen. If you are in need of a personal injury attorney, number one, support the sponsors. Title sponsor TMA now for a couple of years. But in addition, somebody who's local. Brown and Crouppen, founded in 1979. Doug and I were right down by Brown and Crouppen on Saturday night, because that's right where the Plowhawks wedding was, right across the street. Yeah. Brown and Crouppen is online at brownandcrouppen.com or by calling 314-222-2222. Remember, the choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Support the sponsors. Brown and Crouppen, presenting sponsor of TMA. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne. Little Jackie Papers is back from his vacation to Cape Cod. The program is called TMA, and it airs on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
There's firecrackers shooting in the sky.
Oh, wow. A week from 4th of July, Doug. A week from Friday.
Sparklers, screamers, and streamers. Cherry bombs, smoke bombs with your moms. Kids playing with the poppers in the street.
This is kind of the definitive July 4th song in this country.
I believe so.
It used to be a John Philip Sousa march, maybe, and now it says.
Yeah, acoustic sessions. CMA 101 ESPN, Fisher Window endorsed our sponsor, the 8 o'clock hour.
It's our 4th of July, so let's celebrate.
Jackson, you going to the lake on 4th of July? For like the whole weekend or just...
I was thinking the whole weekend. That's the right move, right? If you're going to do it, and just let it rip. Maybe even head down there Thursday.
Oh.
Just start getting after it.
Good for you.
No, I won't be doing that.
No. Is Karate Kid good or bad per goodorBad.com?
The original Ralph Macchio? Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's classic as classic gets.
Have you watched all 7 seasons of Cobra Kai on Netflix?
No. Don't plan on watching one.
Wow. Very dismissive.
It's a movie that I'm like, oh, yeah, Karate Kid. I enjoy that, but I don't need to spend 7 seasons in the future of it.
Doug, do you remember the gentleman who played Sensei from Cobra Kai?
No.
His name's Martin Kove, and there was a Karate Kid fan convention.
Really?
Why do you say it like that?
Well, the movie came out, early 80s?
Was that 84?
I don't know the years,
so
Tim.
Guys in their late 40s?
Is Tim going off dossier here? I'm trying to follow on, Professor.
Dossier. Dossier, give me a little time to get back. I got to stretch out.
Yeah, when I noticed that the entire 10 o'clock hour was empty, I felt like I needed to take some liberties with the dossier.
Stretch out. I
noticed clearing the deck.
I'm only ready for 3 innings.
Earlier was clearing the deck : and then underneath at the time was nothing.
I'm working on that. I'm working on a lot of things.
It appeared that the deck had already been cleared.
I just got to be stretched out. I got to get tee-hee. I got to get stretched out. I'm only ready for 3 innings.
Tim, since earlier when the deck was empty,
unbelievable.
It's now been updated. What is the biggest
when this program started, Little Papers was 5 years old, and so there's some sixth senses that come, and I recognize the dossier was a little light today. But as I was reading during the commercial break at this Karate Kid fan convention.
Oh, my.
So you're on ESPN.com, and this just popped up.
Absolutely. Martin Kove, who played the role of the sensei at Cobra Kai, Doug, last night, was booted from the Washington State fan Karate Kid convention.
Can you imagine the pack of nerds that would have attended that thing?
Pack of nerds.
After he allegedly assaulted a fellow Cobra Kai female cast member, and police had to get involved, according to a report from Puyallup Police Department.
Well, Puyallup.
Thank you. I was hoping. Puyallup Police Department, obtained by TMZ, Alicia Hannah Kim accused the Karate Kid icon of biting her so hard on her arm he drew blood.
Biting?
And then he kissed her arm, and then she yelled out in pain. Doug, as you know, Alicia starred alongside Sensei in Netflix's Cobra Kai. She told a police officer working the VIP section, God, can you imagine what the VIP, that's bottle service.
God, someone probably dropped $800 on that.
The VIP section vent that Martin allegedly, completely unprovoked, grabbed her arm and then began to chomp down after she walked past him and said hello.
What?
Did he think this was going to be funny? Was it just kind of a gag he did?
I can't tell you
took
how,
it too far.
It's so psychotic to bite somebody in your adult life.
You're kind of kink shaming just a little bit there. I just have to warn you.
Outside of consensual sexual interplay, the idea of biting somebody is insane.
But what if it's your co-star at the Karate Kid fan event up in Puyallup?
I mean, would you not call the police if Doug just walked over there and bit you?
I'd probably excuse ourselves to a restroom.
I guess. Wouldn't that be the most concerning thing of all time?
The Rockers morning show got even bodier. This Martin Kove, by the way, is 78.
Oh, God. 78
he
years
should
old.
Probably know better.
Both the actress and her husband who witnessed the event, and would you say that's a cock?
Yeah, I would.
Probably.
Claim they told Martin immediately after what he did was completely unacceptable, and he allegedly was furious and outraged and visibly angry when I told him not to bite me. He insisted that he did bite me for fun.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, Dan Orlovsky.
Did they? Maybe Orlovsky's in biting. Was there biting in the Karate Kid movie? Was it something to do with the movie? Or
Let's see. There was paint the fence, wax the car. Doug, what else was going on there? Sand the floor, paint the fence, sand the floor, wax the car. And then he gets in that All-Valley karate tournament, and as it turns out, all of those gestures that he thought was just free labor were actually karate moves.
Oh,
Brilliant point,
okay.
Pat Morita.
God, I can't believe I missed the picture.
I never saw that, the Karate Kid.
No.
But Jackson has. He reviewed it on GoodOrBad.com.
Because you and I were adults.
No, but even if the biting was a part of the show, it doesn't mean you can then just do it and
No, he must
practice.
have thought this will be funny or something.
If Ralph Macchio hit me with the crane position, Spartan kicked me in the chest, and was like, oh, it was cool, I did it in Karate Kid, I still wouldn't help my broken sternum.
Probably not. But if you got in that position, you go, oh, okay, this is kind of part of the movie.
Right, until they kick you.
Until he actually went through with it.
Yeah, biting someone. That is
It's hard to believe there's crazy people in Hollywood. Hard to believe.
Police say Kove seemed to realize after he was confronted by authorities that he screwed up, and then he apologized to Alicia and her husband for biting her in front of the officer. He was told he needed to leave the venue, and the report says the officer told him never to pull that stunt again.
Well, that'll teach him. Now, you know, sir, don't bite other people. Do you understand? Sounds like kindergarten.
Guys, Johnny from Karate Kid was totally cucked by Daniel LaRusso. I guess so.
I don't remember.
I guess so.
When in doubt.
Well, now, could you get rabies from another person if they bit you?
If they have rabies, I think they would have to have. I don't think it could just manifest itself.
Well, they could give you something else, if not rabies.
Yeah,
probably.
for sure. Yeah. You shouldn't bite anybody. This is a society. We don't bite.
And you learned that, what, in your late 70s?
If you're biting anyone past in double digits, it's pretty nuts. Like, that would be concerning for a school.
God,
let alone a guy approaching 80 bites somebody.
Have you ever been bitten by a dog or anything?
What about by a frisky lover?
I got to be honest. I have more bug bites than you can shake a stick at right now.
Cape Cod is full of bugs.
It's unbelievable how many bug bites I have, truly. Like, I find new ones every hour.
What's going on? What kind of bugs?
I assume skeeters, but hoping it's not a tick or anything that's carrying any sort of
bed bugs,
disease.
maybe?
No, I don't think it's
bed
that.
bugs. Sweet Kai.
No,
You gonna sue?
No,
You don't want to think that, but that could be what it is.
I don't think it is.
Weren't you in a farmhouse with 10 other guys?
I was in a farmhouse, but I don't think it was big because everyone has. Like, it was people who weren't staying in the house that we stayed in had bug bites. Like,
You don't
some
have
people
crabs, do you?
I don't think so.
Some people are more targeted. Like, I get them behind the back of your legs.
That's where I got
all
one.
Over the
I just
place.
found one there low 25 minutes ago.
Wow. The Alliance is back. Skeeter bites.
Skeeter bites.
Doug and I went to the Plowhawks wedding, and we don't have any bed bug.
Yeah, I don't have any bed bug bites, but I do have skeeter bites. And, it's cost doing business, I guess.
I did get a hickey, though, at that wedding.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be biting? That's close.
No, that's sucking.
Suckling. I think it's more suckling.
That's the right word, suckling.
I got bit by a hamster once, and I was never so angry at a rodent in my life.
Bet off.
Right on the finger. Picked it up as a kid. Bit me right on the finger.
Doug, I'm a sassy little skeeter. Num, num, num. That's from Mr. Budjack Mike.
Now, why would he think he needed to tell us that?
Ralph Macchio was in my cousin's class at Our Lady of the Pillar. That's from the self-made stay-at-home the do mom. I thought he was from Jersey.
Yeah. He has one of the all-time baby faces. Like, still looks like what he looked like in 84 in the face. Like, face has not aged at all, Ralph Macchio. Good on him.
Kind of that Scott Baio vibe. Like, they were kind of...
He was in The Outsiders, right, Ralph Macchio?
Well, we just read off the list yesterday of who was in The Outsiders.
Really, do we? Okay.
I don't think he was in it unless I missed it.
Doug, how old was Ralph Macchio when he starred in The Karate Kid alongside Martin Kove, who 60 years later started biting co-stars?
I didn't see the picture.
Ralph Macchio's absolutely.
I guess he was maybe 16.
He's not the top 5 or 6 names.
22.
He was 22. Look 16.
Goes back to Jackson's point while he was kink-shaming Martin Kove. I would like a Twitter apology from you, Jackson, for kink-shaming Martin Kove. That would be the
I refuse.
right thing.
It's not kink shaming. He bit somebody at a convention, a karate convention, which is a wild sentence.
Well, what was he going for there?
A wild
What do you think he was going for?
That's what I'm saying.
Or did he just completely lose his mind like some elderly people might from time to time?
Because if that's like something that can happen where just like your brain has a power surge and you start biting people, that's a real problem.
Doug, what if he was mad about the price of parking and he just let it out? He got mad about parking and let it out.
That's what'll get me.
Yeah, if there's one thing that would get you.
to visit me at Del Mar Gardens, I may bite you.
Why is there a convention in Puyallup?
Where is Puyallup?
It's like outside-ish of Seattle, but not right by Seattle. It's up there.
Just have its own convention. If it was at like Comic-Con, that would be one thing. Like they had a booth, but they have their own convention. I guess we got a stay-at-home dads convention here, so anything is possible.
Do they have no-see-ums up in Cape Cod? Those are the bane of all Floridians. They are tiny biting gnats. The bite hurts, and then they itch. That's from Sharon in Clayton. Doug, as you know, she spends time in Sanibel and also starring in The Real Housewives of TMA. She thinks you might have been hit by no-see-ums.
I've been victimized by those, too.
Yes, I think that's what it was, because they're really tiny little bugs, and their bite hurts like a mofo.
Chiggers, maybe?
Yeah.
Did you get in the weeds and get some chiggers?
No, I would say, here's a funny little story. Friday night, little cocktail party outside of the same venue where the wedding's going to be. We had like the citronella candles. Is that what they're called? Yeah. And then like tiki torches try to keep the bugs away. But we didn't have any bug spray on us. So I looked it up, and apparently bugs don't like citric acid, and the bar had a bunch of limes and lemons, so I started covering myself in lime juice and lemons.
You're kidding me.
And I convinced the entire party to start doing it because it was working. But we were covered in lime and lemon pulp. It was
pulp. Darn.
Yeah, it was pretty Hoosier.
You kinky SOB.
I smelled like a margarita.
Can I get some video of that? You just lathering up in a
I would take lime
wedge of lime.
Rub them all over my body.
Were there any hookups at the wedding?
Not that I know of. Not of any
plausible deniability
that aren't married or only married folks. I think were getting together.
Okay.
Certainly not me.
No, fair enough. I'll keep an eye on it. Text in 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text inbox. Then you got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, youtube.com/TMASTL. 216 friends are in there talking it over, mainly about Elizabeth Shue and Ralph Macchio. Then you can also email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com. Martin, you know a little something about Design Air.
You know, the thing is, we cannot come out to your home and fix your air conditioner. We could try, but we can't. But the next best thing is to recommend who you should call when the air conditioning is not working properly. It's brutal right now. It's so hot. Turn that AC up to about, 68 or so, and then the room is 75, 78. It's not working right. Call the folks. Set up an appointment at designairservice.com. Get the experts into your home. Ask for the Silver Fox. Is that the latest recommendation?
Yeah.
These
Larry, the Silver Fox over at Design Air.
These repairmen are taking on a life of their own. And the bottom line is they're going to get that AC back up and running. If you need a new unit, you're going to want to buy it from Design Air because they're going to be around for decades to come. They've already been around for a century. So you can count on that name, Design Air Service, to be here years and years down the road. In addition to that, they're not going to upsell you. They make sure when they're in the home, they're not there as salespeople in disguise. They just don't do that. That's why they've been so successful. Family-owned business, Seth Goldcamp, 4th generation. So we recommend, we could send Doug over there in a tool belt, but it's not going to fix the air conditioning. So what we do is recommend the best, and that is designairservice.com.
There it is. Seth Goldcamp, longest-running sponsor on TMA and sponsor of the email of the day. We will have Chris Zimmerman of the St. Louis Blues he's going to join us via the phone lines, and then Steve Chapman of the Blues is going to be in studio. That's coming up in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour, and the Blues are unveiling the new logo and new sweaters right here on 101 ESPN, Doug. Can't wait to see them. So that's coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. The program's called The Morning After. It's presented by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA YouTube channel. Is this from like a Karate Kid soundtrack?
I don't know. I figured it was.
Is it?
Moment of Truth by Survivor.
Boy, Survivor was all over soundtracks in the 1980s. Rocky, of course.
Certainly. Is You're the Best the one that would be like, that would be, damn. I was in between that and You're the Best. This and You're the Best. Rats.
That's a putt you want to have back. That's an 18-inch putt.
That's silly on
you
my
need that
part.
back.
You need it back.
Wouldn't be bad to maybe send out an apology on that, too.
What? So I'm that.
You're apologizing for kink-shaming Sensei from Cobra Kai.
Right. And then playing the wrong Karate Kid song. All right. Just making sure I get my tweet ready. Only 280 characters.
Thank you, Jackson. It's the 8 o'clock hour on TMA, which is brought to you by Fisher Window and Door Store. You're welcome to participate in a wide variety of ways by calling in 314-374 or 974-0101. Collier and Thompson, sponsor of the phone lines. Air Comfort Service, sponsor of the text inbox 314-399-9646. Jackson, I'll yield to you. I mean, I kind of ad-libbed the dossier brought to you by Stiefel there. Doug 8-1 says Jackson's NBA overflow, and 8-2, which we're now in, says Shilt's warm seat.
Which one you want?
You think Mike Shilt's on the hot seat in San Diego?
Not hot.
You put him on that before anyone else. You were ahead of it.
For the record, the Padres' record is not as good as the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. Proof is in the pudding.
Yep, 42-36. Cardinals now 43-36 after the win over the Cubs last night.
I don't know if the heading of the segment matches the story, but the story looks really intriguing. A.J. Przinsky on Foul Territory said that the MLB had people watching Mike Shildt in his office to make sure he was serving his suspension in case he tried to manage from afar.
Yeah, here's Przinsky right here for you.
All right.
Did y'all know that he was locked in his office, for the game? And there's MLB people that sit in there with him and make sure he doesn't pick up the phone to like call down to the dugout or call down. Like they lock him in his office. He can't leave his office, right? Like I'm like, what if you got to pee? They're like, oh, they follow you. He's like, he can't. He's like, you just had to sit there like this and just watch the game on the TV. Like MLB people were watching him everywhere. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
Base hit. It is crazy. Like no one else could possibly figure out the moves that Mike Shildt would send in.
I kind of love that though.
What kind of job is that?
Just people just really in the office with him with their
phone
arms
down.
folded.
What are you doing? Are you texting over? Put that down.
I would
it's
love
like a grown man has somebody watching his every move.
Great job. The supervisor of players or managers after they get kicked out of the game.
2005, Mike Martz was at home with an ailment, remember? And he was calling the booth and trying to, give them plays. And they said it got, I think Jay Zigman or John Shaw said, all right, stop it. This is not working because the tape at home is on a delay. So it's not going to time out just right. I guess it's a concern.
Well, it's one thing in football to be calling in plays, maybe spot something the other guys are doing. I could see where a coach not there on the field might actually see something that could help. Hard to believe a baseball manager could. The only way is possibly you're watching on TV and you can see, well, you can't even see signs anymore. You can't even steal signs these days. I don't know how a baseball manager could help you.
I do think that's an odd deal. Like MLB is like, we're going to watch you. You're suspended.
And does it take multiple guys in case he goes on some rage? He has to be subdued.
He gets a little fired up. We've seen that. Right now, the Padres trying to run down the Cardinals, Doug, for the third wild card. I keep your eyes on that division, Doug. Don't give up on the division. It's only June 24th. Cards 3.5 back, 8-2. They pounded the Cubs. I think yesterday in the show you said they would hit 4 2-run homers.
I believe I did.
Okay.
You know, the New York Yankees have only 2 more wins than the Cardinals. Yeah. And you can't just say it's a weak division anymore because they're playing everybody, just like the other teams are. It's really been pretty amazing that they've been able to hang this tough, and maybe they will the whole year and surprise us because there were 0 expectations from this team coming in, I believe.
Over under 76.5 on the wins, and Beer Cats just sent in the text. The Cardinals are only, 33 wins now away? 34 more wins until we hit, that's Boozy who sent that in. 34 more wins until we hit the over on the 76.5. Doug, I don't know if you bet that, how much of your bankroll you allocated to the Cardinal over on the win total.
I think they'll pop champagne that day. They
probably not.
The over.
My White Sox win total right in the sweet spot. It's 53.5, and they're at 25 wins through 79 games, so they are right there. Cardinals win total was 76.5, and they're at 43 wins through 79 games, so they are pretty nice percentage ahead of that pace.
White Sox hung tough last night at home, lost 10-0 to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I like the way they competed, though, into the ninth.
Did you watch the game?
Missed it.
Did you see the at-bats?
Missed it.
You really think it was 10-0?
Well, I'm looking at the score here on the website.
Oh, that was the score?
Yeah.
But it was.
Yeah, there were some dreadful teams.
Libitor maybe bouncing back after a little lull there, and to give them credit, maybe just kind of this six-man rotation. They bumped Gray back. They've used McGreevy. Even though it feels like they're babying pitchers these days, maybe it's working. He went 7 innings.
That was great.
Just never see that anymore.
I loved seeing that last night, especially no off days this week in game one of a series. I loved that. Don't get me wrong. Seeing 4 home runs, seeing what Burleson has done in particular this month, but he had a very good May as well. But seeing Libitor at the start of a series go 7 innings, and that allows you to have a well-rested bullpen tonight, that's pretty encouraging.
Now, with some time having gone by and several seasons rolled past, how do you rate the Libitor-Randy Arozarena trade? Good, bad, or about a wash?
Starting to even out a little bit. It's still the October flare is hard to kind of get out of your brain. But if this guy is good for a couple more years, yeah, starting to even out.
And it's not like Arozarena, since the 2020 World Series, who was unbelievable, has been like a world ender by any means.
No, yeah, he's just been a guy since that one series where he's
250 the last 2 years. Yeah, not a lot of power.
Yeah, if you can get a starting pitcher who's pretty good for you for 3 or 4 years, that's a valuable guy to have.
And a delight, friend of the show.
Yeah, I would say that he is. I guess. I don't think he hates us for he hadn't been on in forever.
Spring training, you didn't think he'd smile on
anybody who just swung by the old tent in February is a friend of the show.
No, I pick up a vibe.
Michael Hellman, friend of the show, no longer with the Cardinals, but friend of the show.
Definitely friend of the show.
Lucan Baker, friend of the show.
Pleasant gentleman.
Is there anybody you wanted to kind of say wasn't a friend of the show?
Brendan Donovan turned you down multiple times.
Yeah.
Not a friend.
And he's a super polite guy.
I know he is.
I think he was busy.
It was a busy week, and we're only there for 4 days that they're actually like really available to give interviews. So it's probably on me. I'll take the blame on that one.
No, you don't have to. It just may be a stretch when someone's polite enough to say, "Okay, you asked me to do an interview. I'll sit down for 3 minutes with you."
We call him like he's a friend of the show.
He's a great friend and fan of the show. Might be stretching it a little bit.
Guys, aren't the Cubs rumored to be in on Sandy Alcantara? Doug, that is talked about. I've seen it bouncing around. I thought Imanaga was going to pitch tonight.
I did too, but he's not. Is listed everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
Taillon's pitching tonight, and Imanaga had a rehab start, and he was very good. The expectation is that he will pitch for the Cubs next week in Chicago when the Cardinals visit for the 4th of July series. But Taillon pitching tonight. Doug, if you are looking for a play to make, and I know you are, Alec Burleson versus Jameson Taillon, 15 career plate appearances, 400 batting average with a .933 slugging percentage. So if you're interested, the ball will be flying tonight. Alec Burleson will hit his 10th home run of the season tonight against Jameson Taillon.
I wouldn't doubt it.
If you want to bet that and continue to increase the bankroll, and then that it should make you a little more liquid for when the Tam Avenue Capital Partners hit you up for a cash call.
Oh, so I make money on my own bets, and then I have to give it away to you so you can lose money on your bets? Is that how it works?
No, that's not accurate. I have to then pay the bookie at the Arnold Water Tower right by that Cracker Barrel.
Otherwise, your leg gets broken?
There have been veiled threats to that. Good kid, though, hard worker. I know he's going to be a senior at Fox, and we meet at the Arnold Water Tower. And
he has a lead pipe.
You slide a little bit over here, and then I may or may not pay you back.
We call that pre-debt.
364 in the month of June for Alec Burleson. 5 homers, 16 ribbies. He is on fire. They'll get a lone all-star. I think it was always going to be Donovan. But if Burley keeps this up for a little bit, I wonder if he could sneak in there. Not going to have the huge numbers.
Pretty good outfield.
But he's going to be a top 10 batting average.
Yeah, he's on fire right now for sure.
Yeah. Guess it's all Cardinal talk all the time now, and we'll never get to Keegan Bradley talk today. Doug, that's from Mr. Licks.
Go to hell.
We had a great breakdown of the Karate Kid. And some guy in Puyallup biting women.
And I'm worried about
Martin
Tim
Cove.
having his leg broke. How do the mob enforcers break your leg when you don't pay? What's the matter? They get you in a figure 4 leg lock or something?
Sam Ace Rothstein out there in Casino, they had 2 different ways that they would try to get their money. They would put the cheater for the counting cards on the dais there, and then they would take a hammer out to bust up his hand.
Oh, is that right?
And then was it also in Casino, Jackson, where the head was put in the vice?
Might be the toughest scene in Martin Scorsese
Put a
movies.
head in the vice?
Is when they put the head in the vice.
It
and
takes
start
a big
squeezing.
vice.
Oh, it was plenty big. And when that eyeball starts moving.
Oh.
I like in The Town, when Jeremy Renner walks into an apartment, I think he shoots the guy in the kneecap and goes, "No more college soccer."
I think I'd rather have that happen than a head in the vice.
Or he might have stabbed him with a broken glass. That would hurt too. Yeah,
That would hurt.
You don't want your legs broken. That's for sure. Kneecapped.
And pay back the debt. That's the lesson here.
Yes. And that's why you have to have cash calls.
All right.
I know it's hot, but it's the Cardinals and the Cubs. Or we're worried about all the empty seats. That's from the 636. I just think that I have to tell you, if it were even 80 degrees, I'd go, wow, that's really odd. But these are conditions that are just brutal. And hey, man, I'd be the first one to say if I thought that was the case, but I just don't think that that's the case. I think it's the heat.
I'd like to see some numbers when the Cardinals hosted the Cubs in the past when the weather got this hot. What kind of attendance?
So, in other words, you'd like somebody to do that for you?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not about to do that.
Well, they do announce tickets sold. I'm a little surprised they didn't sell more, even though people are not showing up. Cards, Cubs, in June, you would think they'd sell more just knowing in advance, whether it's a month ago, 2 months ago. I bet historically they would have sold more, and then people just don't show up. Would you go tonight? Doug went on Sunday, Jackson.
I did.
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
Did you sit somewhere where the sun was hitting you?
No.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say.
Right out in the open.
Because I totally understand bleacher seats being who would want to go sit in that for even an hour?
Almost no one. I can tell you, almost no one.
Honestly, if I were Bill DeWitt, I'd have somebody with the squad walk over there and hand them prizes if they're sitting in the bleachers in that heat.
When the game started, there were people there. But as the game went along, they kind of moved into places where there was shade, and I don't think the ushers did a lot to stop it.
Right field, too, where that sun just beats down on you. Yeah. In an afternoon game, I totally get people being like, now behind home plate, usually pretty shaded in the afternoon.
It was pretty hearty at the end there.
But even Tim, that hot wind comes in. You're getting hot wind.
Hot hawk.
Couldn't feel it.
Yeah, hot wind is not great.
Guys, I was there on Friday, and it was a big crowd. But back in the day when we were legit, it was a borderline sellout regardless of the weather. That comes from sniffing holes.
That's kind of how I remember it. That no matter what the weather was like, Cardinal Cubs series, it hurts that it's on a weekday, too. If they played on the weekend, all these people from Chicagoland could come down and be part of the crowd, too. Didn't see a lot of that.
Do they schedule rivalry games like this during the week? I feel like it's almost always a weekend series. But doesn't that seem like double dipping? You're already going to get better numbers on the weekend. Wouldn't you want it during the week so that you could bring people out to the ballpark?
I think that's the rub, right?
Right.
You love it on the weekend. Cards Cubs should be on a weekend, but it would probably juice ticket sales throwing that on a weekday.
Right.
Stick a Pirates window.
Right. Some a Diamondbacks come to town on the weekend.
Hey, Arizona's here. Goldie's old team. Come on down.
That's a great promo.
Where do you? That's a
old team.
Good crowdsourcing question. Would you prefer Cards Cubs always be on the weekend? I think fans would say yes, but the team, might.
Yeah, people at Busch Stadium would prefer it on the weekday.
I think it'd be better on the weekend. Pack the place.
Creates a pony.
It's kind of a special occasion.
People come in from out of town too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I respect that.
COVID, kids, and Mazzela killed my passion. That's from the White Collar Gangster.
Why would COVID kill? How can you blame COVID? We had, 2 seasons where the things were off, and so now you don't like baseball anymore? Really? That's all it took?
I think people started making that sourdough bread, and they found their real passion.
I think COVID gets blamed for a little too much.
The Cubs are in St. Louis on August 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The following weekend, Yankees in town. How do you do? Back-to-back ponies, Doug.
World Series preview.
The Cardinals have 2 weekday series that month, one against the Rockies and then a 4-game series against the Pirates. But the weekends, they're handsome.
Mm-hmm. Boy, it's nice to get long series against the Pirates and the Rockies.
You better believe it.
Make up some ground there.
Yeah.
COVID-related, yesterday Doug Armstrong said something interesting. He said, watching the Panthers celebrate, he said it's the first time it really hit him that the Blues really didn't get to defend the Cup because they had the bubble tournament in 2020. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then the next year, shortened season, and I think they had, attendance was limited at times. They did play Colorado, but he just said season-wise there was no flow. 2020, or no, the one 2021 was what, Vancouver? Did they get, well, it doesn't matter. He basically said, watching Florida, because it's the first time I really thought about it, that it would have been nice just to have a legitimate chance with that group to defend. And when COVID hit, I think they were the top team in the NHL. Yeah. But I'd never heard him really think. He said, I'm not blaming anybody. He said, just kind of made me think it would have been fun to get that opportunity to truly run it back, because the Blues at that time were a bit of a machine.
Mm-hmm. But I don't hear anyone saying, well, because of COVID, I don't go to hockey games anymore.
No. It's because of Mozeliak. They don't go to hockey games. And kids.
I don't know.
COVID, kids, and Mozeliak.
Yeah.
Sounds like an album.
Sounds like a law firm.
Larry Nichols is going to be with us in the next segment.
Yeah.
He is on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Chris Zimmerman at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Blues releasing the new logo and sweaters. Steve Chapman of the Blues is going to be in studio in the 9 o'clock hour as well. There's your Stiefel dossier, along with the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, where you can email in to compete with Buck Swope, who is leading the month with 3 wins, but he is only up by 1 over Big Tank Del Vecchio and Marlins Family Barbecue. I believe that's a spring training reset. The morning after at Inside STL.com. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
AutoLoanPro.com. That's the website to head to when you're in the market for a new vehicle. No matter what your circumstance, whatever your situation is, they're going to get you into a new car to little or no money down, with the best rate possible. AutoLoan Pro is going to work hard to get you that. They do that by working with over 50 different lenders. Financing a car, only one thing to know. Choose the Auto Loan Pro. Great website, AutoLoanPro.com. Get on there, pick out the vehicle, and also check out that free playbook, which explains to you how the credit industry works, how you get qualified for a certain car. Maybe next time around you get qualified for a different car. Anyone can sell you that car. It takes a pro to do it right. Go to that website, see our buddy Robert Thomas on there, get the free playbook, pick out your car, and just know they're going to work hard to get you the best deal possible. They are part of the Lita family. In the market for a new vehicle, don't worry about your past. Get that vehicle at AutoLoanPro.com.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The NBA season ends, which means the offseason has begun. The Boston Celtics are trading Drew Holiday to the Portland Trailblazers for Anthony Simons, and 2 second-round draft picks, sources told ESPN on Monday night. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Doug, a man's got to learn to take it.
He does?
I'm just reading.
Take what exactly?
The lyrics. Jackson?
Sometimes things are just out there, Doug, and you got to reach for it and take it.
See?
Okay.
Is this part of your theme today?
Well, I played the wrong Karate Kid song in the previous segment. So my way to make up for it is to play the right one in this segment.
And this was playing while Daniel LaRusso navigated that All-Valley karate tournament?
All-Valley. I didn't see the picture and have no intention of ever watching it.
But, Doug, the stakes were so high.
What were the stakes?
The Valley karate tournament.
What Valley?
San Fernando.
Yeah.
Chris Zimmerman's going to be with us coming up at 9 o'clock, 9:05 to be exact, because the Stiefel dossier is so tight.
Yes.
As the Blues are unveiling the new logo and new sweaters. And Steve Chapman is going to be in with new sweaters in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour. So watch on YouTube so you can see them for yourself. How about that, Doug? That's coming your way. And Jackson will say directly to Blues management if he does not like the uniforms.
You'll like them. You won't look right at him and say, oh, these are terrible. They won't be terrible.
I think they're going to get largely solid reviews. I think the fan base is going to like it.
Yeah,
that's my understanding.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's kind of a big moment when one of your teams changes uniforms a little bit.
The Rams, after winning the Super Bowl, unveiled the new ones, and it was at Crestwood Mall for whatever reason.
Oh, the Ultra Plaza.
The big unveiling was at Crestwood Mall.
Is that when they went with those gold, but they were really brown pants?
The Rams' pants were brown.
So it was like they were like khaki. They were wearing Dockers.
I thought it was like a Notre Dame
Rams sponsored by Dockers.
They went with.
And it was
dark
Millennium Blue or Millennium Gold, one or the other.
Yeah.
It's like City Red.
Dark blue.
And then we were told later it took at least 5 years to get any kind of uniform change.
I don't know. I was over at Bissinger's.
Larry Nickel is on the line, Doug, and he wants to update you on the WWE Recap. Larry Nickel's on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Morning, Larry.
Good morning, guys. What's up?
Well, not much. What's up with you?
Not much, Doug.
Yes.
I need to tell you this right now. Please watch the show so you can be prepared for my recap.
Yeah, it is time, Doug, to do a little show prep.
Really that interested in it.
Jeez.
But what happened? That's the beauty of having you on. I don't have to watch it. I can get recapped from you.
Yeah, just think, Larry, if Doug watched, he'd come on here at 7:01 and talk WWE, and then when you would call in, we'd say we already covered that.
I know, but Doug, be prepared in case I missed something.
No, well, don't miss anything. What's your report? Let's have your report now, please.
Last night they had the other semifinals of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. And the winner of the second semifinal between Roxanne Perez and Jade Cargill was Jade Cargill. So the Jade Cargill versus Asuka in Saudi Arabia for the Queen of the Ring. And in the men's tournament for the King of the Ring, it was Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso. And the winner of that match is Cody Rhodes. So it'll be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the King of the Ring.
Okay.
That'll be a good showdown. You pull for Randy Orton in that, Doug? Because
sure. St. Louis, yeah.
Hey, Larry, real quick, what are you watching in the background?
Storage Wars.
Okay, just checking.
What's the difference between being the King of the Ring and just being the champion?
Well, the King of the Ring is more prestigious because in most years, the King of the Ring got a chance to face the champion at SummerSlam.
You're getting owned right now.
Like, I have an example of what I'm talking about.
Oh, good. Okay.
Back in 2002, Brock Lesnar won the King of the Ring tournament, and he got a chance to go up against The Rock for the first version of the Undisputed title, and Brock Lesnar won. So that's what's going to happen to the winners of this year's King and Queen of the Ring tournament. They're going to go up against the champion of the brand at SummerSlam.
Huh. It seemed like back then, when you brought up those names from the early 2000s, like a lot of those guys went on to become movie stars and TV stars and big-time people. Is that going to happen with the current group, or are they grooming a new group of people who will be known worldwide?
They are grooming people to be the new crop of up-and-coming superstars.
I see.
You just repeated what you said. I like that.
Hey.
Anyway,
I say that because I don't recognize these names of the people that you're talking about currently in the squared circle, these stormy combatants.
You don't recognize Randy Orton?
Well, him, I do, yeah, from years ago. I didn't realize he was still going. Gosh, he's got to be mid to late 40s by now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's mid to late 40s. And by the way, I have an interesting fact about the King of the Ring tournament.
Okay, I'd like to hear that, please.
The only person to win 2 King of the Ring tournaments is WWE Hall of Famer Bret the Hitman Hart.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, he won it. He won it in 1991 at a non-pay-per-view event, and then when they did it as a pay-per-view, or they call it now premium live events, he won the first one in 1993.
Okay. Well, that was a nice little tidbit. Anything else happened on the presentation we should know about?
There was a women's intercontinental title match.
Intercontinental, okay.
Waffle fries.
Between Bayley and Becky Lynch, who was defending the title. And the winner of the match, via disqualification, and still women's intercontinental champion, Becky Lynch.
Okay. Wow. Because the title
Unbelievable.
The title can't change hands in a disqualification, right?
Not now, but back when World Class Championship Wrestling was around, the title can change hands on disqualification.
Oh, it could. Okay.
Yeah, just a little different. Larry, you don't have the top 5 countries in the world at your disposal, do you?
Yes, I do, Tim. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, Doug, this is not, Martin, based on GDP or uniform colors. This is Larry's system, and the algorithm spits it out every Tuesday here.
And it's sort of a crazy time in our world, so this is going to be interesting. What do you got for the top 5?
Number 5, Guatemala.
Huh.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense.
Didn't see it coming.
Which one was it?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Okay. 4?
Number 4 will be Australia.
Okay. I keep going.
Number
3.
3 will be England.
England. Okay.
Number 2, Canada.
All right.
And there's going to be a lot of suspense in number 1.
Who would it be?
Which is United States of America.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good.
Yes.
All right.
Doug, there's Cool in the Gang. You hear it? 1982, October. Oh, my. There's Keith Hernandez, dry humping Daryl Porter as the Cardinals celebrate at the mound.
Larry, what would you like to say to any listeners that didn't enjoy your segment? What would you say to them?
I would say, but I don't think it'll be public for radio.
Okay. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
all right,
it's fair.
thank you.
More of a terrestrial FCC thing.
Yeah, on H2. HD2.
HD2, it's a free-for-all. Larry, God bless you, and God bless these United States of America.
Yeah, God bless America.
Well, thank you, Larry.
Larry Nickel with his WWE recap. Martin, as you might have noticed in the Air Comfort Service text inbox.
Not going real well for Larry.
You're talking about WWE when it's the biggest day in Blues history since the Stanley Cup win in 2019?
Oh. Yeah, we'll have time for that. This was very important to wedge into our presentation.
In 10 minutes, Blues President Chris Zimmerman will be with us. But, Doug, there's a Stiefel dossier, and we're contractually obligated to follow the Stiefel dossier. And when Larry Nickel is on, he will send in text messages either to the Air Comfort Service text inbox or just directly to Jackson's phone. And I don't even know if it's passive-aggressive anymore. It's just pretty much aggressive. Earlier, he wrote in, "Who cares about Mr. Licks?" And I think that was the Keegan Bradley take. And then he followed, "I have a passion for the WWE Wrestling Recap, just like I have a passion for baseball." That's when we were talking about the Cardinals and
so
Cubs.
seamless,
right?
You know, it's not obvious at all.
It does bother me that he can't turn off the TV or mute it even for the call.
You ever watch Storage Wars, though, at 8 in the morning?
No.
What are they storing?
I'm not even positive what that show's about. Is it just about
organizing boxes
like
and things?
Like a hoard off? Like who can hoard the most crap?
How big's your storage space? What do you got in there?
Right.
Oh, these were Aunt Bessie's favorite dishes.
I think maybe they purchase like up for auction storage units,
and then just it's like a pack of baseball cards. You see what falls out.
Kind of booty.
That seems like a dangerous play.
Yep.
That's wild.
All right, now I'm going to have to watch Storage Wars because of Larry.
I would recommend it, Martin. Doug, you can tell us about Mark Milton, can't you? Because he's online at stltaxlawyer.com.
Well, he certainly is. He can take care of any kind of tax issue that you might have. He can do your taxes, of course, but what he really specializes in is getting people out of trouble with the godforsaken tax man. If you have years of unfiled tax returns or tax liens, bank levies, wage garnishments keeping you up at night, or worse, you could be facing IRS criminal investigation. If that's the case, you need to contact STL Tax Lawyer Mark Milton at stltaxlawyer.com. Mark Milton and stltaxlawyer.com provide a local and holistic approach to tax resolution. You're wondering about his credentials. Well, Mark earned his accounting degree from the University of Illinois, #1 accounting program in the country, got his law degree from St. Louis U, and now he lives and works right here in the St. Louis area. Started his legal career with the Department of Justice Tax Division in Washington, where he represented the IRS in tax cases throughout the country and even received the DOJ's Outstanding Trial Attorney Award. And now he helps individuals and small businesses solve their tax problems. If you have any kind of IRS problem, contact Mark Milton at stltaxlawyer.com today, and you'll be saying, "No, I'm not guilty. I'm with Milty." Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Well, we're wrapping up the Fisher Window and Door Store 8 o'clock hour, and we've got a monster. Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies, 9 o'clock hour coming your way. It was just called by a supportive texter the most important day in Blues history since they won the Stanley Cup in June of 2019, Doug. And that is what is coming your way next as the Blues unveil their new logo and new uniforms. Blues President Chris Zimmerman is joining us next. Steve Chapman is going to be in studio with the new sweaters. That's all coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, and Jackson will stare them in the eyes and tell them he doesn't like it if he doesn't like it, because this guy is the uniform judge. It's coming up in the 9 o'clock hour right here on the Morning After, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA YouTube channel. Dents Express is local, and if you have some dents that you need tended to, Dents Express takes it all and takes care of you by taking care of everything with your insurance. It's a local gem, Dents Express, family-owned and operated right here in St. Louis since 1992. Gray Wilson and his team are the go-to experts for paintless dent removal, whether it's hail damage, door dings, or those annoying shopping cart dings. What I love is these guys aren't just good, they're experienced. Their techs have been with them for over 20 years. That means you can trust the people working on your vehicle. They offer free evaluations, no appointment necessary, and they'll even handle everything with your insurance. That's right. You drop it off, they take it from there. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and located in West County. Call 636-227-5050 or just swing by. Tell Gray that TMA sent you their way. That's Dents Express, St. Louis's leader in hail damage repair.
Consider this the remix. Today's Tom Sawyer isn't painting fences. He's painting the boards. We're respecting the classics, but changing the game. We're respecting the past, but trumpeting our future. We're holding the note, but playing it louder. Because what goes around, comes around. The same rock, new roll. Same river, new flow. Same blood, new sweaters. Same blues, new note. Same as it never was. Where classic meets new heritage. Forever classic. Because it passed as prelude, consider this the remix. Remixed, remastered, reborn. The St. Louis Blues.
There's Blues head coach Jim Montgomery as the team has just unveiled the new logo and new sweaters. And Doug, take a look. There they are right there. What do you think? How would you describe it to the audience?
Oh, I like them very much. It's the lighter blue. I guess it's the road uniform is a lighter blue. Not that much different than what they've worn traditionally or what they wore in the Winter Classic. It looks like they've kind of gotten away from the navy blue and gone mostly just to the lighter blue and gold. Looks very sharp. Looks terrific.
Joining us right now to give us the background and detail is Chris Zimmerman of the St. Louis Blues. Morning, Chris.
Good morning, guys.
Tell us about what is going on with the new logo and how this all came to pass.
Well, how it all came to pass, I'll tell you, I like to think in part that having played in 3 Winter Classics and having had the opportunity to really go back and capture expressions of the Blue Note and expressions of our brand that obviously represent some of the past, but then also find ways to bring those into the future. And within this, you've got really the hero of the story is always going to be our sweater, and so making what has been called Heritage Blue, I think it's going to probably become St. Louis Blue, will be its real name. By having used that in the first Winter Classic jersey, having played with, essentially worked with the same feel and look in both Minnesota and in Wrigley, all of that led to it becoming clear to us that coloration of blue, that the feel of those uniforms was not only popular, but just felt like the right place for us to evolve the brand.
As an organization, that Winter Classic look, Busch Stadium 2017, did that kind of even start back then, this whole movement to using that Winter Classic look that people are kind of associated with now? I mean, because fans just loved it, does that start the in-house conversation saying, no, maybe one day we go that direction?
Without a doubt. I mean, in some ways we've had, if you go all the way back to 17, I guess we've had an 8-year focus group around the uniforms, and the feedback has been largely universally loved. It's always reassuring when the players say that they love the look. Obviously, the 17 uniform has been worn for Saturdays for some time, and we've got some good success, particularly of late, on those Saturdays. And then on the road sweater, it was really, we had primarily the first time out gone to that sort of off-white cream old look, and now we've taken much of that and put it into a traditional white jersey, and we think that those sweaters just pop amazingly. But yeah, from the fans to the players to we'd like to tell the stories of whether it's Hully or one night being up in the ownership box talking to Gretzky about the uniforms. It's clear that people look out and see those and say that's the St. Louis Blues, and that's the best look that we've ever had. And so today we launch that look with refinements, small but important refinements and additions as well.
Who are the designers and artists that actually do the work and present it to you and say, do you like this? Do you have someone on your staff that does that, or does that get hired out? And how does that process work?
Well, there's a combination. Brenda Wilbur is our creative director. She plays a really big role. One of the things that we wanted to do, obviously the Blue Note is, when you talk about one brand mark, one iconic brand mark, we think it's one of the best in sports. And so we're very protective of that. But at the same time, we've made some small updates, improvements, and some of it is little things that, when that last version of that Blue Note was developed, all the uses of digital media and all the different places that we put the note weren't there. And so we had these very thin lines were part of the design. And quite honestly, on a lot of applications, they just couldn't be executed, and we'd have to find ways to add them in. So there are small updates that we've made that make the Blue Note more functional in all of our marketing. And then we've got a couple of other marks that we've added that will be used. One of them, the STL treble clef that we wore on the helmets at the Winter Classic. We felt it was important, as most any sports brand would, to have a few other brand marks, none of which will be primary, but they play a role in our merchandising of the brand.
You ever worry about player reaction? Do they get a sneak peek?
I'm sorry, who?
No, I said, do you ever worry, as a franchise, do you worry about what the players think? Do they weigh in at all? Does that matter?
It definitely matters, and it definitely matters. And I think particularly making the transition around our home jerseys from just being the Saturday sweaters to being our primary look. Yeah, we have had consistent approval, and the guys like the uniforms. That makes a difference without a question. And so, yeah, we feel really good about that. We also, one of the things you have to think about when you're doing this is, how does the color translate on equipment? Because you've got different equipment manufacturers, and can we get a consistent blue on the helmets, whether they're a Bauer helmet or a CCM helmet? And so the equipment team is also, an important partner in this along the way, and they've certainly signed on, and we'll be ready to go.
Chris Zimmerman of the Blues with us here, as the Blues have just unveiled new sweaters and some new logos as well. That is up on the 101 ESPN social media, and Steve Chapman of the marketing team is going to be in studio with us here coming up at 9:30, showing those sweaters on display. All right, a couple of questions. Martin, you like logistics, is that correct?
Yes,
okay.
big.
All right, Doug is very pro white sweater at home. Is that live at all? And then secondarily, will there be an alternate jersey or jerseys over the course of the season, as we have seen in the past, Chris?
Yeah, so the vote for white at home, yeah, there's definitely a contingent out there. They don't seem to be strong enough yet to make a difference. The theory being, gosh,
you'll get over it, Doug.
We'd really like to see the colors of the other teams when they come in. No one's gotten that one passed yet, but I would say that the fact that if you keep working at this, Doug, I think you can.
I agree.
You can start that groundswell that
I'll lead the charge.
Yeah, make it your life's work.
Yeah. When I go to a game, I want to see those red Blackhawk jerseys, and I want to see Dallas in their green. I don't want everyone coming in to look pretty much the same as the last team that did.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a lot to work with there, Doug. So,
but it sounds to me like that blues-colored blue is the new home, and then the white is the road. Just to clarify,
and it's not the off-white; it's white.
Yeah, it's not that, because I think in one of the Winter Classics it was a little more of a creamish kind of thing, and this is true white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then your other question, so we'll have a few different jerseys worn a few times during the year. We the navy or royal blue would have been the current uniform. It will be worn as our third jersey, so that will continue to be part of our brand's identity. So our Stanley Cup winning jersey is still part of the Blues identity, but now no longer the primary uniform. And I think we'll have a few other programs during the year where we have a few other special jerseys. So we want to keep our fans and our creative team active, and so there'll be, you'll occasionally see some other looks scattered in throughout the season.
And Chris, as the I was going to ask, as the CEO of business operations, we talk a lot with Army and the team and the roster, and then the cap is going up next couple of years. It was flat for a while. As far as the business of the Blues, I know I had Tom Stillman in the TV studios, and he was talking about it's going to be a challenge. How about on the business side, trying to match that number so that there's money there to go out and spend with the cap going up?
Yeah, it's more and more difficult. We have. I wish I had a couple of other lines of business. Maybe we have ticketing, we have our sponsorship, we have our broadcast. Those are our major places where we fund the team. So we've got to continue to get more creative in how we find revenue, quite honestly, to fund the team. And it's going to be a common challenge throughout the league. I think a lot of teams, some people are saying, well, maybe there'll be more teams that won't spend to the cap now. There's another theory that despite the financial challenge, most of us are going to be right there at the cap, and I think that will be the case. So we're probably going to make more friends with more bankers and find other ways to make sure we can make payroll. But we had a good year on the business side. We've got, and I can tell you that coming off the really exciting last couple of months of the season, our new ticket sales are up, and people are really bullish about the sponsorship programs we're working on, and so I feel good about it. There's an excitement about obviously the way we finished, and I think new uniforms, new look, remastered, no more Tom Sawyer, whatever we just said about him. I don't getting into the video was a nice touch. I think there's good energy, and I think we've got a good fun year of Blues hockey coming up ahead of us.
And is the TV kind of status quo from what you guys did last year?
I think I wouldn't say that, because last year was more experimental, and at this time last year we weren't sure whether our partner FanDuel was going to emerge from bankruptcy. So I actually would like to. I'd say that I'm very encouraged by where that business stands right now, doesn't mean there aren't ongoing questions. But yeah, I think we're in a better position than we were a year ago. We're planning and executing, and yeah, I think I think it's going to feel a little different.
Yeah, Z, I'm reading that answer as, hey, Martin, I came on here to talk uniforms. Ask me about the TV deal in about a month or so.
I love the
okay.
I said, no, not really.
Okay.
We just had, I'll tell you, we just had a meeting with, I believe it's 7 NHL clubs that are still with FanDuel with their, largely new management. And there's a lot of good things happening there. So I'm actually, I would tell you something else. I'm bullish on the year that's ahead, and rather than scrambling to wonder if you're in business with your partner, we're actually executing and working on how can we make the broadcasts as good as they can be.
All right.
There you go, Martin. It was a wonderful question when all said and done.
TV logistics. Tim, I like TV logistics on top of uniform logistics as well as players' travel logistics. So, I'm going to find out if Michael McGreevy stayed at an apartment as opposed to going back to Memphis. Chris, we get down to the important brass tacks.
Absolutely. Plus, I'm liking Doug leading the charge for.
He's left the studio. He's outside with a petition.
White sweaters at home to see the other team colors.
There you go.
I'll do my best. I think the NHL's missing out on that one, but it's been that way for a long time now.
Doug, get over it. God.
Well, I'm not quite over it.
I don't think he should get over it. Okay. I think he should start the movement.
Okay, I'll call Bettman later.
Chris is on board too. Chris, we appreciate the information. The reviews on the new sweaters are overwhelmingly positive in our text inbox, and Doug, the text inbox is usually not overwhelmingly positive
on anything.
That's right. So this is a landmark moment. We certainly appreciate your time and all that the Blues have put into the effort here for the new logos and new sweaters. Thanks so much, Chris. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That's Chris. Thank you. That's Chris Zimmerman with us here on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. And it sounds like he's on board, Doug, with the white sweater.
It actually does. Maybe if it was a league thing, they could kind of make it a thing.
Is there any team that wears white sweaters at home, or is that a league thing?
I believe it's a league thing.
Okay, all right. And that goes back to around the lockout. We've talked about it before, and I looked that up. Doug, your review of the sweaters before we go to the official review, which, of course, comes from Jackson Burkett. He is Ladue class of 2016.
I absolutely love the sweaters. Wow. It goes back to the original color that they wore in 67, 68. So there's that nostalgic portion of it. Also, I think it's such a unique looking uniform. There's no one else in the league that looks anything like this now. And when you wear the navy blue, there's a few other teams that wear navy blue also.
The Jets.
Yeah, and the Rangers, and there's some others. But nobody looks anything like this, and I really like that about it.
Martin, your review.
I really like it. And I don't want to be a wet blanket, but I did see this. So the Blues posted it, and then I was reading all the comments, because everybody hates everything.
Right.
But Blues fans are very supportive of everything the organization does, mostly. And as I'm flipping through, it's kind of like our text line when it goes in one direction. Bravo, everything's great, nailed it, yay, love it, this is awesome. And then you get someone who just says awful.
No.
But the one that I do agree with says no outline on the numbers is bad. So the 55 of Parayko, which they show him modeling the jersey, friend of the show, the 55 doesn't have like a stencil. That's one thing. I'm not a uniform geek. I don't care. I know we'll spend a lot of Mizzou time talking about uniforms.
You want a black border around the number?
I like a little border or stencil around the number. I will agree with that. But largely the reviews here online are good, and I do like that Winter Classic. Of course, the texting anywhere, tweeting anywhere can be negative. Sabres would like their jersey back. Didn't you lose 3 Stanley Cups with these?
Oh, Lord.
So it exists everywhere. But on the whole, Tim, I'm going to give it 8 hockey sticks.
8 hockey sticks that's a scale of 1 to 10 hockey sticks?
It's out of 11.
11 hockey sticks. Doug, check this out. Okay,
don't do that.
Love the away uniform. Love the away uniform.
The white,
That's the white one. I love it. And I really like the home uniform, but I love.
How many hockey sticks?
The away uniform is an 11 out of 11.
Okay.
The home uniform is a 9 out of 11. But our opinions don't matter. We do not own and operate a uniform review business like little Jackie Papers. And so therefore, for the official review, it's time to hand it over to Hockey's own Jackson Burkett.
So here's my takeaways. In a vacuum, this color blue is probably not my favorite, but I think with that color yellow/gold, it does pop and it looks really good. I will say that. The new logo, it's bolder. I like boldness. It's pretty clean. Like it's bold and clean. What I really love, my favorite part of it, is on the hockey, and I say air quote pants, even though they're clearly shorts. I love the treble STL logo. I think that's an awesome new addition. It's crazy that it hasn't been there before. I think it looks incredible.
And you said off air it reminds you of the St. Louis Country Club logo a little bit.
Little bit shades of STLCC, a logo you don't often see. It's not like Hardee's off the side of the highway. It's not big signage.
Hardee's off the side of the highway is what I heard.
Random reference.
Well, I would say that the signage is more like Martin's camera in segment 7-2, where it's just a piece of wood that says like St. Louis Country Club. Beat it. Beat it. But I like how those two colors work. I prefer the road uniform as well, Martin, and I agree.
And Doug's trying to make that road uniform the home uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Chris Zimmerman may be on board with Doug.
Seems on board with it. I do agree that the stencils on I always love that with the Blues with the stencil, but
you're with me on the stenciling.
I'm curious what that will look like on the ice, with the back of their jerseys too, because I'm just seeing it on the shoulder.
They'll sell thousands of these for Christmas presents, I'm sure.
Well,
I want the
we're looking
shorts.
to bump up the math for the new cap, Doug.
Get the trust fund baby who thought Pietrangelo played for the Oilers off the air now. From the 6'3".
I might not know puck, but I know threads.
Oh, do you?
Harrison's brother Master and you were on the same page, Martin. That's a very rare moment. Great jerseys, bad numbers. So it goes back to the number thing.
And all we're seeing from the number is the shoulder on the side of
I don't know about you, Martin. I haven't seen the back of the jersey yet. Have you?
Yeah, there's a tweet where they show Parayko modeling it, and then
the back of his jersey is on there. All right, let me take
on a tweet from the Blues. By the way, St. Louis Country Club related. I was cleaning out my phone. That I take pictures of everything constantly. A little picture. Hey, and if I'm golfing with buddies and there's Carson or whatever, I'll take like 10 of them just to pick out a good one. Never delete it. The other day I was going through my phone and I had taken a picture of the text line.
Oh wow!
And it was Sid inviting all of us to play golf at St. Louis Country Club. And I saved it that day just to see if it was real, and I have yet to reach out.
Oh, you got to do that.
Yeah, but it said, if you guys, I love the show, and if you guys would like to play some Monday this summer or fall, I'll have you guys out.
Kind of thought it would be like a Saturday 9:30.
Well, it sounds like it's caddy day for us, and the pool's open on that day for us.
Right.
So
Punch day or
I'm just here to tell you, because I saved that text, we may be playing over at STLCC.
Oh my, Doug! And I assume the membership committee will be meeting with us with an invite.
Probably hound us.
Yeah.
Please,
is that how
join.
it goes?
Please,
they come to you.
Yeah, for the Monday outing.
Right, and they say initiation fee waived. Come on over.
Expect that.
Right.
Forget the merch. How hot is this logo? And he's talking about the fleur-de-lis with the blue note treble. Going to look on the hip of Melville moms at Indian Hills later this summer. Hubba, hubba.
Excuse my ignorance. What's Indian Hills?
Well, it's now Native American Hills, and it's a pool in South County.
Okay. Public, I assume.
Oh, did you hear that, Doug? Did you hear the way he said condescension?
I didn't care for that.
Steve Chapman is going to be in with the new sweaters on the other side of the break. This is TMA, and it's presented by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN. TMA 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne, little Jackie Papers back from his vacation in Cape Cod. And Doug, look who's on your right. Martin, look who's on your left from the St. Louis Blues Marketing. It's Steve Chapman. Chapman, man.
Wonderful that you could be here.
I mean, we're all dialed up now. And Martin's wearing the home sweater, even though Doug wants it to become the road sweater.
I do.
Doug is wearing the road sweater, even though he wants to become the home sweater. I've got this new hat. Jackie Papers has a new hat. If you are wanting to check it out, go to youtube.com/TMASTL. I'm telling you, you're getting about a 95% approval rating on this.
Well, we were hoping for that. We actually thought we would get it because, to be honest with you guys, like this was largely spurred by fan reaction, right? I mean, it kind of started in 2017 with the Winter Classic, and such a great response from that. And then over the years, fans just repeated, talking about, God, the sweaters you wear on Saturday night, those, they just love them. And so this has been a long time in the making, but we're pleased, but actually not surprised because we really, this was a very fan-driven idea, to be honest with you.
Does anybody along the way, like Stillman or anybody say, I don't know, are we sure about this?
Yeah, and that was a good part of the process. Actually, I think one of Tom's initial, I wouldn't say pushbacks, but he just, do we look tough enough? And
that's a great thought, actually.
It is a great thought.
Yeah.
Well, here's the interesting
thing
about
how tough Doug is.
I'm actually,
here's your answer.
You're intimidated, I can tell.
I'm actually leaning more this way. I need to be careful. Doug
I'll drop the mittens.
Doug might jump. Well, here's a great stat for you. In the last 3 years, we're 28-3 in these sweaters.
Wow.
Oh, really?
So that must be must be tough enough.
How about that?
And then another interesting on that note, was fortunate. Sounds like I'm name dropping. I'm fortunate. As last night we were at the Cardinals game. I was in a suite and Gretz was there, and Gretz was talking about.
That's Wayne Gretzky to everybody else. Gretz
Jackson. He played for
Wayne
the
Gretzky
Blues
wore
in
number
1999.
He was talking about how the original Blues, like this is the color of the original, 1960, how tough those teams were. And so anyway, you asked about pushback a little bit just to make sure we were doing the right things, but to me that was a part of the process, like you said, just to make sure we got to the right place.
28-3.
It's such a beautiful shade of blue. And Chris said maybe we'll start calling it St. Louis blue. Like Carolina's got Carolina blue and we got Royal blue. Why not St. Louis blue?
Well, that's the hope. Right now it's a PMS color, but the league actually told us they don't be surprised in a few years if this is being called the St. Louis blue.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Let's just start that, right?
Yeah,
okay,
I like
it's the
it.
St. Louis blue.
Does the league push back and say, okay, that first, no, change this? How much can they say? We don't like this, don't like. I mean, it's your jersey, but does the league have some veto power there?
I wouldn't say they have veto power, but they're helpful. They're helpful in the process. They obviously have a lot of knowledge on marketing and into merchandising and that sort of things. So, yeah, they don't have veto power, but they're certainly a part of the process.
And then all the different logos. The one that I have on the hat, for those of you watching on YouTube. Then there's also the STL that will be on the Jackson. Is it pant or short? Jackson believes it's one or the other.
It's not a gaucho.
Freezers.
And then, of course, the treble, the fleur-de-lis, and the STL. Give the background on those because those are sharp as well.
Well, we'll start with the STL because this has been probably about an 8 or 9 year project.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. When you're trying to, we wanted something that would tie, the Blues to St. Louis. You have the note, which is so iconic. I think one of the most iconic logos in sport. Period. Right. But unless you know it, it doesn't scream St. Louis. So we wanted something that said STL, but when you do that, the challenge is the Cardinals STL is so, I said iconic a minute ago, like you just think of that. And so for years we would do things and we'd look at it and we'd like, it just looks too much like the Cardinals, or in a lot of cases it was honestly just plain boring. And so our design team led by Brenda Wilbur worked with a company named Rare, who was out of Hattiesburg, a little town just south of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And I think we actually lucked into something. They didn't know much about hockey, but they knew a lot about Delta blues music. And I actually think that just happened so organically that when they came back with some of these logos, when they first came back with the STL, it's a little bit of an homage to the treble clef. And when they came back with that, we instantly saw it and went, that's it, And then the floor, like you're wearing, I love that logo.
Yeah.
I just think there's so many different applications to it. So now we have a lot of different things to work with for our fans to have.
Do you keep it quiet when you're doing this just for the surprise factor, or because some other company might take it and make it their own jersey and copyright it before you get it on the market?
A little bit of both, right? I mean, one is you obviously want it to have the punch of releasing it and showing it, but we have to copyright this stuff. You have to go through all those legal processes, trademark, I guess I should say, this stuff. And anyway, so literally both.
Tim, maybe this is the time for John Hamm to get a new hat. I mean, he does kind of has a raggedy old Blues hat. Tim's got a new. Tim, would you be willing to give that to John? Friend of the show.
Yeah, John Hamm is a friend of the show if you would like it. Jackson's got one as well. He's got the black rope hat. That's a sharp look as well. These are some nice hats. People are loving the hats and they're loving the sweaters. And this is in the YouTube chat, as you can see the comments popping up there, Steve, and then also on the sweaters. Things of beauty. A uniform change oftentimes has some pushback, and this is a rare, near universally acclaimed moment.
All right, Chappie, the only complaint by some are saying, Tim, others are saying, some are saying that the number doesn't have a little stenciling around. The number does not have any kind of shading around it or whatever.
Black borders, what you're talking
Are you
about?
concerned that some are saying that?
Well, I think everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? But we think the numbers pop, and we think
it's a verbal middle finger to me right there.
That's exactly what that was. That's exactly what that was.
I'll get over it.
But you know what? One thing that we really thought out, like our note that we've been wearing for the last, 15 years, hasn't gone away. It's going to be our third sweater, right? So all of the merchandise that you currently own, and if you're just in love with that note, fine, keep wearing it. It's part of our process, part of our system.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard Chris Zimmerman on. Tim, I'm on the team. Chappie and Z, clearly insider speak. Your Gretz.
Chris Zimmerman is the president of the St. Louis Blues, by the way.
Chris Zimmerman was on, and Doug was pointing out he really likes the white jersey at home, but there is some logistical with sponsors why you can't do the white at home, the dark. Explain that a little further if you can.
Well, we're fortunate. Big sponsor plug here. Stiefel, who's been a wonderful partner for us, but Stiefel is on both our home and road sweaters. There are some teams that have different sponsors on their home and road sweaters, and different sponsors. We actually do have different sponsors on our helmets. And by the way, I think this is really cool. I know this is diving into the sponsorship realm, but every one of our, everybody on our uniform is a St. Louis-based company. Yeah. And that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. CarShield, BJC. Yeah. But when you start switching sweaters, and it happened this year because we wanted to wear our Winter Classic sweater from this season at home, which was white. And it was easy with Chicago because they simply wore their Winter Classic sweaters when we played. It was hard to find an opponent because they were like, Chappie, we want to help you, but like we've guaranteed, our sponsors on our road sweaters, guaranteed sponsors on our road helmets. So it does start to get complicated along those lines. Yeah. And before anybody starts, wow, these sponsors help us pay to the salary cap. So we're unbelievably lucky to have them.
Sponsor logistics, Tim, right there.
Yeah, that's a good explanation, though. That's something, because Blues fans probably notice, well, Stiefel's on both the road and the home, but other organizations have different sponsors for the road and home. What ballpark percent? I didn't even notice it, of course, because they're the other organizations. But is that a healthy percentage of teams that have the split sponsorships?
I don't know exactly who does and who doesn't. I've noticed that some have different ones, and so. For us, we're fortunate, right? We can switch the sweater easily, but the helmets would actually be challenging for us because we have home and road partners. Yeah.
Are you concerned what outfit Mizzou will be wearing when Roll Tide shows up in October?
That's a great question, because I guarantee Doug is.
Because Steve Chapman may be going. Will you be at the Alabama? It's a Mizzou game for these guys, but for you, it's the Alabama game.
Roll Tide, 11 o'clock start.
Yeah, I think I might make my first sojourn down to Columbia and try to check that out if I can. Will you be down there?
I might be down there. It's 11 a.m. start. A little early.
Yeah,
that is a little early.
We weren't too happy about it.
Well, we're at the age now we wake up at 6 a.m.
Well, that's true.
So what difference does it make?
Big Tide guy, right? Roll Tide.
Steve, people want to know where they can get this gear. That's the top text right now from the Afton Altar boy. Where do we get this gear? I see he's really enthused about it. Where can they get it?
The gear is at stlauthentics.com. Yeah. It's down at our team store. It will start proliferating into the market. I just think I butchered that word 9 ways.
Proliferating.
Thank you.
Look at Doug.
Into the marketplace, and pretty soon. Sweaters will be available a little closer to the season in September, but I'm told we are doing pre-orders right now, so if you want to get your sweater and get it branded with your name or your favorite player or whatever you'd like, then you can do that right now and start ordering immediately.
You're going to sell a lot of Christmas presents with these.
I sure hope so.
I would imagine so. Yeah, you can go. I'm on STLauthentics.com right now and taking a look at it. And the new logos and new hats and new sweaters are all up. Take a look. And, man, these are sharp and getting great reviews. Congratulations to you guys. I know a lot of work goes on for a number of years for you and your team. Congratulations on getting to the finish line and then also the positive reviews. I know this is a great day for the Blues and the organization.
Well, we appreciate it. It really, hey, for us, it was about we wanted to make sure that we honored our heritage, but that we're looking forward to the future. Like, we want to compete for cups, and we want it to be about this next wave and this next group of players that are coming through. So I think we've hit it, and I think our fans, like I said, when you listen and pay attention, it makes it a little bit easier, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a great thing, and people are fired up about it, and you can see for yourself. If you want to get some of this new merch, it's at STLauthentics.com and at the Blues Team Store. Steve Chapman with us. Steve, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the program is called TMA. We'll take a commercial break, come back with more here in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. News out of Major League Baseball. Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo told reporters after the game yesterday that the star outfielder Corbin Carroll has a chip fracture in his left wrist and will hit the injured list. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Benny in the crease, he's locked, he's tight. Here in St. Louis, we bring the fight. Bring the fight. Go Blues, hit the groove. Joker's got the vibe, let's bust a move. Thomas on the ice, we'll take the prize. Beat the Jets to the cup, we rise.
I gotta go like this.
Hasn't really aged well. But it's still a groove.
I like these songs.
I do too. Rogers and Hammerstone is the name of the guy who does a lot of this for us. So shout out to him.
If you were watching on the TMA YouTube channel, you see the hats that Jackson and I are wearing. These are new. Martin and Doug were wearing the sweaters of the Blues as they unveil the new uniforms, new logos. Jackson's holding up a T-shirt. Look at that shirt. I do like that logo.
Isn't it cool? Because he's right. The STL, Cardinal STL, is like more of a logo for the city of St. Louis than it is the Cardinals, it feels like. And I think this could be a good way for the Blues to kind of jump in on that.
Okay.
I think it's really sharp, and it's going to be worn on the shorts.
It's kind of like half musical note and half STL.
Yeah, like a treble. Like a treble.
TMA STL Twitter account. Gallup poll just posted. Do you like the new Blues uniforms? Yes or no? I can tell you in the text inbox and in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, Doug, overwhelmingly positive.
It's a really cool shade of blue, I think.
St. Louis
I've
blue.
always liked it. Yeah, St. Louis blue now it's called.
You could also tell Zimmerman when he was saying he needed a banker that the horny banker who's listed as the horny baker says, let me know.
Yeah,
let me
he's
know.
mad at Jackson for being the horny
banker. It still says horny baker, which is really kind of gross. But he said if he needs a banker, I'm here for it. So we can hook up like Blues with a new
great comment in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. I just wonder if that hat wouldn't look as good on somebody that's not Tim. And Doug, that comes from Chairman Kurt. He's posting it.
There are heads, like Tim wears hats very well. And
yeah, it's so hard to do to put a hat on your head.
You're right, Doug. Thank you for
the look on Doug's
I have a
face
hard
when I
time
said
with hats. I do.
My dad has a tough time, and I have a buddy who has a great head of hair, but he describes himself as having low ears, where his ears sit real low on his head. There's a lot of space here, so when he wears a hat, there's like 3 inches of space between his head, his ears, and the hat.
So there is something. Are you familiar with this term? It ties into this Blues hat that I am sporting, courtesy of Steve Chapman, who was just in studio from the St. Louis Blues marketing team. HatFished.
HatFished.
I doubt Chairman Kurt is familiar with HatFished.
Is that like buying hats online? That
no. Chairman Kurt, why don't we see if we're on the same page with what that means?
I mean, I think there's one person that comes to mind when I think of hat fishing, and it's Kenny Chesney.
Oh, I know what it is now.
So the lady will be incredibly disappointed once the hat comes off.
It's honestly one of my worst nightmares.
Well, what is like? Someone's bald and they didn't think you're going to be?
It could just change the entire look of a person.
Absolutely.
Right. I think it's less so like completely bald and like more like really bad hairline that they haven't done anything about.
Or concave skull.
Right. That
More
one's
specifically.
that one's probably rare.
Is that what Kenny Chesney has? He's also got a lopsided skull?
I don't know much about Kenny Chesney. I know he's kind of short.
Pulled over like, sir, did you see where you're going? I couldn't. Do you see my hat? I can't see a damn thing. Hat fishing, that's pretty clever.
I thought it was like a hat looks great online and you buy it and it comes in. I can't buy hats online for that reason.
Yeah, hatfished is the term, Doug. So a girl thinks a guy looks like one thing when he's wearing the hat, then he takes the hat off, and all of a sudden.
How often would something like that occur?
Well, Tim waited until his marriage day to take a hat
That's
off.
correct.
Anna
Anna Marie had not seen me without a hat up until 15 years ago at our wedding. So that caught her off guard, and I can't imagine she was too pleased.
At that point, the Masticholi's paid for, so you got to go through.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
Sometimes people have pointed heads. I suppose a hat could disguise that.
Maybe like a cone head?
Dan Aykroyd. Jane Curtin. Was Jane Curtin the?
I know what you're talking about.
If they're bald, you can see it a little bit better.
Sloth
If your hair,
from the
not so
Goonies?
much.
He had a pointed head?
Some people have a little point on their head, like a little mountain range.
The guy who is in the Hills Have Eyes, is that the guy that has that?
I've seen the Hills Have Thighs.
yeah.
Jenks Coke.
Gosh.
Tim McGraw is the ultimate hatfish. That's from Beer Cats. I don't know on that. I feel like ladies love Tim McGraw one way or the other.
I think it's a pro golf thing. Like you see it a lot in pro golf. Like,
Stuart Sink?
Guys pull off that hat and you're like, ooh, put it back. I remember when Spieth won the first time. I was like, oh no.
What was wrong with his head?
What do you?
I am
certainly.
think's gonna come
my
when
house
someone
is
takes it?
completely made of glass, so I'm not going to be casting any
Is it all
stones.
hair related, or is it how they look overall?
Hair related. Hair related.
Okay.
Hair related. But like Tiger, the end of his career, not great.
I'm ugly as hell without my hat on. Bald's not beautiful for some. That's from the 618, Doug. A lot of hat fishing, apparently.
I
I
guess
just
it's a
Googled
thing.
Jordan Spieth, and almost every picture he has a hat on. Now, granted, golfers largely wear hats, but
And he's a young guy who's losing his hair too, isn't he?
Yeah.
yes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like when he won that first time, he pulled his hat off walking down the 18th fairway, and you're like, oh no.
Oh,
But again,
wasn't that bad?
house made of glass.
You're not judging.
Right.
You're just doing truth in golf media.
Right.
Doug, what about Fred Durst? That's from Steve in Wildwood. He's a chairman.
I don't know.
What about
I don't
Fred
know.
Durst?
I never even thought
He still
about
has
this
hair,
till right
doesn't he?
now. Somebody takes their hat off, of course they're going to look a little bit different. You're going to see hair or no hair, different hairstyles. I don't know what you're expecting.
Hat fishing. It's a problem out there.
I guess.
We really are cleaning
You
the
really
deck.
think women care what kind of hat you have on?
No.
It's about what's under the hat.
Oh, I know. It's
under the hat.
But you can have a hat that is so attractive, they go, wow, I like this guy. And then he takes the hat off. Now I don't like him anymore.
It's like
yes.
makeup for males.
Yeah.
You think?
Think about
Yeah, I
it.
kind of think that's right. I think that's a nice play.
More or less, yeah.
All right.
See what the Blues' new uni has prompted?
Yeah.
A true clearing of the deck.
But the thing is, John Hamm puts that hat on. I don't think it looks as good.
Is me wearing it.
Right.
No, I agree. I think
Wow.
I think ooh, that was a nice. Martin knew it was coming. He prepared himself. So far, 140 votes. You can vote at TMASTL on the Twitter tweets. 90.7% approval rating of the Blues' new uniforms. And that is, at the moment, 140 votes for the Gallup poll that was just posted a couple minutes ago. So, Doug, it's executing at a pretty high level.
And he did say, Steve Chapman, that they're going to keep the dark blue ones, too, and wear those from time to time. It's a third jersey, so you don't have to get rid of all the jerseys that you already have. You'll be just fine.
I'm sorry. I'd rather be bald than a fatty. That's from Man Love.
Yeah. Well,
then you say, if you're the fatty, I can always lose the weight.
Right.
But you can't change that face.
Yeah, yeah.
What constitutes a
agree with
fatty?
Doug?
Someone who's fat.
Use it in a sentence.
But like, at what point are you, a little husky, and at what point are you a little fatty?
Well, there's a fine line there between someone who just looks like a big old ruffle cowboy football player and someone who looks fat.
Right. Well, I agree. You can lose weight, but regaining hair you can also do.
But some gentlemen can look great bald. I'm sure we're all thinking of Johnny Sins right now.
Who? Or Tim. Look at the gong fell over.
Martin's at a point now where he's thinking about
I have
litigating.
low decibel hearing loss. In my
Yeah, can we change it to like the lemonade to like a bike whistle?
When I leave here now, I'm like, "Hi, everybody," because I got gonged.
Well, the eliminating should stop.
Michael
Save your
Jordan
hearing.
and Bruce Willis did more for balding American men than anybody.
Yeah. Bruce Willis kind of let it like hang around for a little bit and still look great.
Yeah.
He did a lot.
And the ladies loved his style.
Yeah, Statham.
But he also's got, 9-figure net worth, and he's a tall cat, action figure. Jason Statham,
Yeah.
The Rock.
I think maybe baldness doesn't bother women as much as it bothers men. I think most women are capable of seeing past someone's hair
Well, it's
follicles.
just an overall thing. Like, if you look good, then you look good,
Right.
But if you have a concave skull, is that what it is?
Yes.
That's what we call a bad beat. It's a bad beat.
That's when you started your hat fishing routine.
It's my hat fishing routine.
Okay.
Yes, and I was married in a hat.
Tim, was Kojak sexy?
I think so, but I've always been attracted to older men.
Oh.
See me with
Put
Retief
that off.
Goosen.
Yeah, Jackson's attracted to Retief Goosen. What, he won the U.S. Open in 94?
I
Was
don't
that
know.
Ernie Els in
I just
94?
don't remember
Retief
the
Goosen was
years. I don't.
96? And Mark Jones was a surprise in 95. Am I right on that?
I never claimed to remember the years.
Deacon Jones, Little House on the Prairie.
Steve Jones.
Merlin Olsen as well.
Yes.
Uh,
Retief Goosen is, he's 56.
If I go bald, I'm taking a trip to Turkey. That's from Man Love.
I just had a buddy do that.
That's what they
Really?
do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How's he looking with the hair transplants? That's where you go to get a hair transplant.
He said half the plane him was going to Turkey to get a hair transplant.
Yeah, he said it was like some gross middle-aged summer camp, and then they're all riding back on the plane like with Band-Aids on their heads, swelling.
More than a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
There was a Costas quote at some point about how sports radio in America all sounded the same in every market. And he said if you consumed it long enough, you would be certain that every male out there was impotent, bald, and going through a divorce.
Yeah, tough, fair, can't argue. Email in, Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. We have entered the 10 o'clock hour here on TMA. That means Martin will be heading to onboarding, and you should be heading to James Carlton online at carltoninsurance.net or by calling 314-961-4800. You will get great customer service. You call there right now. You're going to talk to somebody in the office in Webster Groves. Ask yourself this question: has your insurance gone up in the last year? The answer is very likely yes. Give James and his team a chance to save you money. 314-961-4800 to go online at carltoninsurance.net. Do you have kids under 25 on your insurance policy? This is where James saves a lot of TMA listeners a lot of money. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. I'm a client. I've been a client for 6 years. I can't say enough good things about James and his team. You have a responsibility to your family to put them in the best hands when it comes to your insurance for home, for life, for auto. James Carlton is the best. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. Martin, you are heading to onboarding, and we are heading into the 10 o'clock hour. The program is called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
TMA is brought to you by St. Louis-based Stifel, a leading wealth management and investment banking firm. Stifel is the firm where success meets success and has been since 1890. Founded in downtown St. Louis way back when, 1890, same street the company is headquartered on today. Proud to have called St. Louis home for 135 years now. They partner with the Cardinals, and they got their names all over those beautiful new St. Louis Blues jerseys. And also, they sponsor the Stifel Charity Classic. They sponsor the Stifel Theater. Stifel is honored to support our people, our city, and our future. With financial advisors in 12 offices across the region, Stifel helps clients right here in St. Louis and nationwide manage their hard-earned wealth. Stifel also provides banking, lending, and trust services and has a full-service investment bank. Basically, when it comes to finance, Stifel has you covered. That's Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Oh, Doug. Well, things were going okay, and then Johnny Roast Beef got the pink Cadillac.
Mm-hmm. And then everyone started getting whacked.
Yeah. Roast beef sat in that pink Cadillac. His blood spilled out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they might have been
alert.
suffocated. I'm not sure. I don't think they had their legs broken.
In the Cadillac?
They're definitely in there.
They got shot, right? They had blood on their heads.
They definitely did. Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes I just wonder about my goodorbad.com investment. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
well,
it's
not
tenuous at
not
best.
like doing like a one-man stage play. Goodfellas,
Death of a
Jackson's
salesman.
Just oh my God! Do you know what was it? Bronx Tale was a one-man show. Yeah, it was just a one-man show.
Chas Palminteri.
Yes, that was just a one-man show, and then they turned into a movie.
If Big Al were to do a one-man show, I would go and I would pay top dollar for it. Big Al, kind enough to join us right now on the Collier and Thompson phone lines, I gather, with his St. Louis Blues uniform review. Good morning, Big Al.
Absolutely. You know it. This is a boy that's going to be buried in a signed Pat Maroon jersey. And I told my son, you put me in a suit in that coffin, I'm going to come back and stick a finger right up your hoo-hoo.
Oh,
so don't even think about it, you little nerd. So how you guys doing?
Boy, you came out hot. You came in hot.
Yeah.
I love the new jersey, the new sweater. That goes back to my time, that crooked blue note.
Yeah.
That's my time. So I may switch up and put that on when I'm in my coffin. I don't know. Well, I can't put it on. I guess they'll have to. But you know how that is.
You're going to wear a
After they
Blues
break
jersey
my legs and arms
in your coffin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Hey, I bleed blue, I die blue. So that's it. You know, I bleed out and then I go because my son, little Blake, and you're listening, you better put me in that dang jersey. And when Beer Cats and all my buddies, Biff and Chairman Kurt, who won't talk to me and even say bye to me at my coffin, all those people, you know, then you're going to see me in that jersey. Otherwise, you're just going to be held to pay. So how you doing, Doug?
Well, I'm fine. What hell are you going to dish out on if you're dead?
I think he mentioned it.
Oh, I got contingent. I got a sleeper blues cell, so they're gonna handle my business.
Okay.
So Blake knows better. So
All right.
and I've been hatfished before. It's not fun. So
Okay.
I know that. How you doing, Jackson?
Good, man.
He's fresh off a trip to Cape Cod for an old money wedding this weekend, Big Al.
Big shootings, man. You better you better wear some nice stuff there.
Yeah, just got back.
I got some jean shorts with some fringe. It still might fit you.
It's a good look. You been to the Cape, Big Al?
No, sir, have not. No, have not. But I just want to tell you, I've been hatfished, and it's not fun. You know, especially
really?
with trucker hats. Looks like they've been run over by a truck. And Beer Cats, you need a face cover, not a hat. I just want to throw that out there to my buddy. And bald is beautiful, right, Tim?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of choices in the matter, Big Al, to be candid with you. But, you know, I'm battling through the adversity.
Yeah, well, I'm not bald, but you could consider me bald. But, you know, Doug, you're right. Women don't care. Or was that Chairman? Who was that? Said that.
I don't think they care. I think men are probably more self-conscious than they need to be.
Yes, absolutely. Because look at me. I am beautiful, and I pull more ass than a ranch hand on a donkey's farm. So don't worry about it, man. We're fine.
Please.
So I just wanted to say, Blue Notes, boys downtown, Zims, my buddy Stills did a great job. You'll be getting some more of my money, and I'll be wearing them, and I might even die in it. So I'll let you guys know about that. Back to you, Jim. Talk to you later, boys.
Well, all right.
Jim Neighbors?
I guess.
I might even die in it. That's a great thing.
Big Al, nobody is going to want to see you, Al, get turned to ashes. That's from Starfish Street. And, Doug, they are not happy with the call in the Air Comfort Service text inbox.
Well, they should be. He's a long-time caller, and we enjoy it when he calls.
Are you a proponent of burial?
As opposed cremation.
I don't know. I guess.
What do you want done, Doug?
I guess bury me.
Yeah.
What do you want to wear?
Well, I hadn't really thought about it too much. I guess a suit of clothes.
So antiquated.
Somehow I'm thinking kind of like Ted Williams, that maybe as years go by, they can take a bit of my DNA and bring me back.
Is human taxidermy a thing? I'd stuff you and just put you on my little mantle.
All right, that's enough. I don't believe it is a legal thing to do.
I don't think that. If it is, it shouldn't be.
No.
Do you think anyone's ever walked by an open casket and saw what the dead was wearing and said, tacky?
Probably so.
No
I
good.
agree with Doug on that.
Probably so.
No good. Yeah. Wow. Cliche. Black suit.
Your thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646. You also get email in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com. You can always go back and podcast via the Schaefer Door Company podcast. Schaefer Door is Jason Gosrow's company, and Schaefer Door is a longtime TMA sponsor, and it's great to have them on board. Schaefer Door is spelled the following way: SCHAEFER door.com. Jason has set up a number specifically for TMA listeners, and that number is 636-782-3608. You can call it or you can text it. They service all kinds of garage doors for service and new installs with LiftMaster. LiftMaster is garage door openers, strong, quiet, and versatile. They have Monday morning standby service for the doors that break over the weekend, and they service commercial doors as well. So if you run a business or a warehouse with big, tall doors, Schaefer is experienced in these types of jobs. Go to SchaeferDoor.com or call or text 636-782-3608. Schaefer Door, a LiftMaster partner. Doug, so much still in this Stiefel dossier. Jackson has the rankings of MLB's top 50 trade deadline candidates.
Top 50? Mm-hmm. We got to come up with the names of all 50.
Again, this is just the top 50.
Then there's clearing the deck.
Ooh, yeah.
What is the biggest faux pas one can pull on an airplane? He's given us a list. I guess he must have experienced something either to or fro Logan International en route to Lambert Regional, so we'll find out there. And then we got the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. Now you've been briefed on what's to come on the Stiefel dossier here on TMA, presented by Brown & Crouppen, 101 ESPN, and the TMA YouTube channel. Michael's Flooring, family and locally owned for over 30 years. Done online at igotfloored.com. Right now, you can go to igotfloored.com and get 3 samples free from Proximity Mills. That's right. Michael's Passions Flooring. When you order from him, he wants you to have the best experience for the best price. Just come in or talk to him at Michael's, and you're going to see a difference. They want to make sure they suggest the best thing for you, not just pushing what corporate is telling them they have too much of. There is a reason that Michael's continued to grow throughout the 31-plus years. Employees love working for him as they feel like family, and he makes sure they're taken care of, and this then rubs off to the families buying the product as they know they have the best interest of the buyers at heart. They have it all, but carpet is awesome, and it is back in style. They have so many varieties of all flooring and have 3 easy-to-get-to locations in St. Louis. They are in Creve Coeur, they are in Darden Prairie, and they are in St. Peters. Come see why people are loving getting floored by Michael, and make sure you visit igotfloored.com.
These eyes cry every night for you. These arms they long to hold you again. Boom, boom, boom. The hurting's on me.
Don't hurt yourself.
You gave a promise to me, yeah, and you broke it. You broke it, honey. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen a lot of love, but they're never gonna see another one like I have with you.
Who are these rascals in the background?
This is Michael Cera in Superbad when he gets stuck at a party and a bunch of guys go in there. There might be some horse involved. And they kind of haze him into singing songs a cappella because they think he's a different guy. You're that guy's brother, the guy who sings, and they make him sing. Oh, it's so funny.
I don't know how you would have gotten through that as like an extra, sitting there and not just break here and that.
No extras. It was all like Martin Starr. It was a lot of the Freaks and Geeks guys in that scene. Judd Apatow, his clan. Really great stuff right there.
Okay.
I have more a cappella if you'd like.
I think we heard plenty.
Fair enough.
Your thoughts on Superbad, text them in, 314-399-9646. Save that number in your phone, and next thing you know is you're a friend of the program, Doug. You can also watch the show and talk it over at youtube.com/TMASTL. The new hat I am wearing that is able to be seen at youtube.com/TMASTL is from the Blues as they unveiled their new logos and new sweaters this morning. And Doug, we have done a Gallup poll on Twitter.
Yeah, boy.
And 87.7% is the approval rating of the new Blues uniforms, sweaters, jerseys, pants, shorts.
That's about as high a approval rating as you'd get on anything, I think.
Yeah.
Because usually people are real quick to tell you they don't like something if it's the slightest bit out of their taste. But 87%, that's awfully good.
Yeah, it's a high approval rating here. This morning, you can take a look at it if you're interested in some of the new merch, too. It's at stlauthentics.com. And a lot of ladies are texting in and saying how this hat color matches my ocean eyes, as Billie Eilish described them in her song from, was that 2016 when she wrote that?
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just don't know the years.
2016, Jackson?
Is that really when she wrote it or the song came out?
17.
17? Okay.
Yeah, but she wrote it in 16. It came out in 17.
Yeah, it's fair.
Thank you. Doug, you wanted the list of the top 50 trade candidates?
In what sport are we talking about?
Baseball.
The
Cardinals
only
are
one
off
that's
this
playing.
win.
Okay.
Now let's see what's going on. Do you want to? It's from ESPN.com. It's the top 50.
Oh, my
50
goodness. You want me to pinpoint the exact name that they...
Let's try to get 42.
Number 42.
Okay,
Helsley.
I will. No, that's ridiculous.
Oh,
he's 23. How many Cardinals are on the list of the top 50 trade candidates as written just this morning on ESPN.com?
Did you say how many Cardinals?
That's right. St. Louis baseball Cardinals.
Let's see. I'll say 6.
You're correct.
Is it really?
Nicely done.
Wild guess.
But you might be surprised who is the highest ranked.
As in, who is the best player on the trade market?
I don't
or
know.
who is the most likely?
I have to be honest with you.
I don't like the list. I don't like the whole premise of this.
I don't know what the number next to the player's name means.
Because the number 21 has a 30% chance of being traded, and the number 22 has a 40% chance of being traded. So
I don't follow the numbers.
I don't know how that works.
Nolan Arenado is ranked 21st. Now, what that ranking is based on, I don't know, but I do believe in it.
Yes. I don't believe in it.
Give him back.
The chance of him being traded is 30%, according to ESPN. They write Arenado is a career best at strikeout rate And he's still an above-average defender, but his power and patience are both trending down to around the worst of his career.
Patience?
Yeah, that's the patience stat.
He's getting grouchy at home or something?
Yeah. He's still a solid starter, but no longer a star. And the team taking him on a deal would still have to pay him like one, potentially complicating any deal, a full no-trade clause. Doug, there are 4 teams listed as the best fits for Nolan Arenado.
No.
Would you like to guess what 4 teams?
How about Boston?
No.
No, of course not. I give up. I don't even want to guess anymore. Because that's all it is guessing.
Talk about the hurt.
Who needs a third sacker? I don't frankly know.
Got to do some show prep, man.
Okay.
On this show, you got to do show prep.
Mm-hmm. How about Tampa?
No.
Of course not. I don't know. I don't know.
The Yankees on that list?
Yes. Thank you, Chairman.
God.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for this Brewers series.
I'm not. Why would the Cardinals trade their top guys now, 3.5 games out of first place?
Well, it's only 30% chance.
Why would it be that high? If you're the Cardinals, are you going to tell your fans, 3.5 out, we'll never make that up in 80 games?
You can ask Jeff Passan that, assuming he'd take your call.
Yeah.
They're filling up space on a website with this.
Boom!
That's what they're doing.
Oh, but that means you're accusing Jackson of filling up space on the Stiefel dossier with this.
Yes, I am.
I don't like how the number 1 is Alex Bregman, and his chance of trade is 10%.
Well, why is he
How does
number
that
1?
make any
Does
sense?
that mean he's the best player on the trade?
I guess
like I said, I don't know what these numbers next to the players' names
They
mean.
just signed him.
I think it's probably best players. Just like
they say, they're ranked by value for their new team if traded, not likelihood of being dealt.
Okay,
that's
fair.
what the ranking is. So Alex Bregman would be the most valuable possible trade candidate.
that makes sense.
Well, why wouldn't Shohei Ohtani be the most valuable trade candidate?
I don't think they
or
think
Aaron
he's going to
Judge.
be moving. So
Well, I don't think Bregman is either. They just signed him.
10%.
According to who?
Passing.
I think the Dodgers need some of that $700 million to move Ohtani right now.
The one that is ranked the highest and also considered likely to be traded, Sandy Alcantara. Yeah, the Cubs are listed as the top team that he could go to. Now, this one fascinates me. Freddie Peralta is ranked 4th, and the Cardinals are listed as a possible landing spot for him.
Oh, sure. That's what the Brewers are going to do. Send their best pitcher to the Cardinals in the middle of a pennant race. Sure, that'll happen. This is a lousy list.
But yet, Nolan Arenado is going to either the Yankees, Tigers, Brewers.
Oh, let's do 1 for 1. Peralta for Nolan, straight up.
There you go.
There you go, Doug. A little swap.
I don't mind that move.
You think the Brewers will
I got to be honest with you, I don't mind that move.
It'd be great.
Peralta for
Arenado.
Yeah, why would they do that?
We'll throw in some.
Helsley is ranked 23rd. Chance of him being traded is 30%. The Dodgers, Phillies, Diamondbacks, Yankees, and Tigers are listed as the likely landing spots for Ryan Helsley. Eric Fetty is ranked 30th. 50-50 chance of him being traded to the Padres, Blue Jays, or Astros. Additional Cardinals following. Let's see. Phil Maton is ranked 45th, and Steven Matz ranked 50th. I apologize. 5 Cardinals on the list, not 6.
Okay, it's all made up. It's all totally
I just gave you the rankings. I gave you the
and
data.
the rankings are made up. I could come up with some rankings, too. They would also be made up.
That's a serious charge.
Yeah, seriously.
Who's the top catcher on this list?
Yeah.
Oh,
how do we get him?
question.
That's from MD 2020.
Great question.
Jackson, you want the Cardinals to carry 6 guys who can catch.
At least. I think it should be every other hitter. Let's see. At the not many catchers. See, everyone's holding on to them because all they do is rake.
They're going to start building their entire rosters around the catching position.
I don't see a single catcher on this list. There's not one catcher on this list. Is there anyone who used to play catcher? Because they'll do.
Don't say
Wilson
play
Contreras.
catcher. We don't say, did you used to play catcher?
What do you say?
You say, did you used to catch?
Catch?
Yeah,
Yes.
doggone it all.
Mr. Semantics over here.
Well, no one ever says, did you used to play catcher?
Some people say, let's have a catch.
And that's wrong, too.
That was like Kevin Costner.
Be a catcher would work.
Be a catcher's fine. Catch, I used to catch, it's fine. You never say, I used to play catcher.
Okay.
You don't say, I used to play pitcher. I used to pitch.
They got good pitching.
They got good pitching. They got good pitching.
They got good
defense.
catching. Yeah, no, everyone's holding on to him. Everyone, because they know the Cardinals are after him.
They don't want to give up all their catching to the Cardinals.
Yeah, we figured out we cracked the code. That song said it.
Doug, and then also, before we have our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day, Jackson has clearing the deck in the Stiefel dossier. Jackson, you have this question.
Yeah, the biggest faux pas one can pull on an airplane, or maybe the one that bothers you. We, of course, have the classic sky pigger, who, once you reach cruising altitude, rewards themselves with some sort of treat. I was sitting on the plane yesterday, full flight, on the way to, almost empty flight, full flight coming back. And my friend was on the aisle, I was in the window, and in between us, you couldn't draft a better person to be in the middle. Older lady, super sweet and nice, knew the right amount of conversation, then knew when to pull away. And then right when we got to cruising altitude, out came a snack.
Oh.
And it's just that my heart dropped.
But hasn't almost everyone done that at some point?
This one was a fork and knife. It was a salad. There was some sort of compote on there that was quite ripe.
Compost?
Yeah, compote. I don't know if it was trash.
She was hiding an entire salad somewhere in her purse.
Whole salad. Right? Whole salad.
Holy crap.
Fork and knife, feta cheese. Not ideal. I was like, oh,
And
man.
you said, we got to cruising altitude. This is when I'm going to look around and see when somebody's going to reward themselves for getting to cruising altitude.
And lo and behold, it was just to my left. So that stung. So that was a sky pigging. Then we heard about this last week. I call shoeless Joe Jackson someone who likes to peel off the shoe.
I saw it. Now, that happened in planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
And that's what you ran into yesterday, too?
No, I didn't see that on either of my flights, but I have heard.
You call that shoeless Joe Jackson?
I have seen people take off not only their shoe, but their sock as well.
Oh.
And that's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Don't do that. I also saw yesterday in a different area what I call the seat spreader. So the person who gets the middle seat, they probably have C boarding in the Southwest, and they feel that because they're taking that middle seat, they have that row is theirs. They're spreading out their legs.
Row?
They're spreading out their legs.
No, I think the armrest should be theirs.
Armrest is theirs.
Yeah.
We're in agreement there, Doug. Armrest is theirs, but their legs are spread out.
Akimbo?
Knees encroaching on other territory. And I get that the window and aisle have more room to operate, but let's be civil here. Early riser, the person when the plane lands immediately has to stand up despite them being in the back of the plane.
Right.
Clearly not going to get up there quickly.
Because they're in a hurry and no one else is.
Yep. There's the reckless.
Right now, it's going to be tough to beat that guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's really bad.
I put that ahead of the Sky Pigger, Doug, as it's now known, shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah, seat spreader's rare, and that one's, you can get around that. Then there's the reckless snoozer.
What is the reckless snoozer?
Someone might fall asleep and their head tilts to the side, and now they're on your shoulder. Hey, easy. Now I got some guy sleeping on me. I can't have that.
Yeah, but that one kind of out of their control. The other ones they can control.
Certainly, but yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And
just like private trust fund, boy. That's from the 314.
Boy, I wish I could. And then there's the woefully unprepared. That's the opposite of the early riser. It gets to their turn to leave, and they have no idea where their bag is in the overhead.
And it's going to take them a long time.
They haven't found their purse. They're taking. Okay, you've seen. We've been sitting here for 15 minutes getting ready to deplane, and you're just now getting all of your stuff ready to go. You get 5 seconds, 10 seconds tops, and then the next person's up.
What's wrong with someone eating a salad? At least it wasn't some whale inhaling a Burger King combo meal. That's from Sharon and Clayton, Doug, and she doesn't want people eating the Burger King combo meal, which oftentimes flying out of Lambert Regional you will see.
Sharon, we get that you're into fitness. It's totally respect to you. It doesn't have to be everything here.
Wow!
And I respect Sharon and Clayton. But you're missing the point. The point was there was other stuff in the salad that was a little more fragrant. And it was also once we reach cruising altitude. I mean, as soon as that ding happens and the pilot says we're at cruising altitude.
Because that's when you reward yourself.
Out comes the treat.
But you're just sitting there, and now you're past the takeoff. And you're just, what is there to do but eat?
Salad is not the worst.
Play golf rival?
No headphones. The salad is not, that's also a bad person. The person who that actually, I think they have a rule against that. Playing like a video or something with no headphones or music with no headphones.
Yeah, they tell you to silence your phone. I sat next to a girl once who she had a giant bag, carry-on bag, that she was in the middle seat. I was on the aisle. She put her bag in front of hers, as she should, and then put her feet where my feet go.
Oh, and that's no good. Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, well, she said, I don't have any room, so I have to go over here where my feet were.
Oh, the displacer. Can't have that.
Yeah.
The displacer is no good.
I don't like when people
gall.
I don't like when people touch my bag.
Oh, really?
Like if it's in an overhead bin, I have it in place, and now you're going and moving just to fit yours in there.
Yeah.
Don't touch my stuff.
That's fair.
Sorry you had to fly with the commoners. Next time, take Daddy's PJ, you Ledoux Ram brat. That's from your mom's lesbian lover.
Gosh.
I think it's always a good, maybe once a month, to remind people that we'll do is a public high school. I went to a public high school.
Kind of.
Public high school. So this idea of like, oh, you went to Ledoux, you must have a PJ is, I think,
it's so ritzy they don't even need to go to the private school.
Correct. That's correct.
That's actually a good point.
Have you ever been on a private plane?
No.
No?
No, I want to be like one of those influencers, though, that they go on the private planes that are parked and pretend that I'm...
Does that go on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It was like a real thing. Like, it was like you can rent out this plane studio for like half an hour.
way.
Yes. Oh, yeah. People got super exposed on that.
Oh, I actually am intrigued by that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Influencers could come and sit on a private plane that was not moving and take pictures.
So other people would think they're a big deal. And,
That's right. Yeah. Well, you got to up your brand or brand, as we've been told. Yeah. Well, I think the woefully unprepared is the most frustrating but the early riser is a real hard-o move. You really...
But the early riser doesn't bother you throughout the flight.
No, that's a rare. Yeah, that's a late. But the most frustrating part of any flight is you get to the gate and now it's like 15 minutes until you can actually leave the plane.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know. I think the sleeper is kind of hot, especially if he gets a little dribble on my shoulder.
Oh.
Sometimes I wake him up with a forehead kiss when we begin our descent.
Oh no. What about the
forehead? Could you imagine?
What about the walrus who just won't fit into his seat and he's flopping over into yours?
Got to buy two. Got to buy two seats.
But wouldn't that be the worst?
Yeah, if there was like some overflow.
That's more annoying than any of it.
Yeah, yeah. That would be. I have not run into that before. I've sat next to some heavier set folk.
Yeah,
but never one where it was folds or spilling over into my area.
I got one that might be a little unpopular.
What's that?
If they're under 3 years old, you ought to be driving.
No, I hate that too.
Oh wow!
I couldn't disagree more. A crying baby doesn't bother me.
There's anything you could pull out and eat at cruising altitude. I'd rather be sitting next to them than a screaming
that's fair.
child.
But I think that that's how are kids supposed to travel? Cross country driving.
How'd you travel when you were a kid, Doug?
Had to fly him a few times.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But most people are understanding.
Yes, I would say. Yeah, that
we were
actually
all
is
that
another
age
guy.
At one point ourselves.
The other guy is the guy staring daggers at the parent who's just trying to get their kid to calm down. It's like, okay, guy, we get it.
Yeah.
Your list is really taking some heat here, Jackson, and I hate to see it. First off, hey guys, I'm on a plane right now. Does anybody know any good places to eat in Orange County? That's from Big Tuft.
Yeah.
And then this gentleman does not like the early riser criticism. Early risers may also be some of the taller, bigger people on the plane. Sometimes it's not getting up to get off early, you moron. It's because the seats are too small, and some of us can't sit for hours at a time in small, cramped spaces. Standing helps stretch Jackson, and then he gave a thumbs down emoji.
So you made it to 2.5, maybe even 3 hours of the flight, but this last 10 minutes is just undoable.
They're just anxious to stand up.
It's just undoable. Come on, you bowl? How tall do you have to be here?
Bowl. That's the name we're using for the stereotypical tall guy.
He's like 7'4". I think that'll do.
Yeah.
Son of Manute. May he rest in peace. Yeah, I like. How tall are you? Where like it's sitting for sitting for another 12 minutes is gonna just end your ACL. I mean, come on now. But I get that to an extent. But that's not what I see. I see like, a guy with sunglasses flipped backwards, tucked behind his ears, getting up and doing that.
Why are the sunglasses tucked behind the ears?
To look.
Is it really?
There's also the
all I need to know.
There's also the person that thinks they're really funny and wants to talk way too loud.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow.
And share everything about themselves and really think they're a card.
They think, speaking of plane trains, they think they're John Candy about to lead the Flintstones chant.
3 coins in a fountain.
That's my favorite part of the whole movie. When Steve Martin sings, and that's the song he picks. That might be my favorite part. That and John Candy smoking while eating a hot dog.
The cat always enjoyed. Meet my friend Neil Page. Nice to meet you, Nick. Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today coming up next. This is TMA 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Cardinals back in action tonight, taking on the Chicago Cubs. That's going to be a 6:45 first pitch with Michael McGreevy taking the mound for the Redbirds. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
My motto's always been, when it's right, why wait until the middle of a cold, dark night, when everything's a little clearer in the light of day, and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite, looking forward to a little afternoon delight, rubbing sticks and stones together, making sparks ignite, and the thought of loving you is getting so exciting. Sky rockets in flight. Woo! Afternoon delight.
Aw, Doug.
You guys have it, I think. Afternoon delight.
Was there a music theme today?
No, Ron.
No.
That
Just
sounds kind
a collection of
We
lousy
celebrated
songs.
Mick Fleetwood's 78th birthday earlier in the program, but now...
Yeah. Well, then
I guess he was a one-hit wonder?
No, and then played the Superbad acapella, and Doug liked it so much that I thought I'd give him
another
a little Anchorman acapella.
The program's called The Morning After. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. If you're just joining us, we had Chris Zimmerman and Steve Chapman of the Blues on, as the Blues have unveiled new sweaters for the upcoming season, new logos, new color, Doug. St. Louis blue. What would you describe this color blue to the person who can't see it right now? It's on my hat if you're watching on YouTube, and my hat is hot.
It's just a little darker than a royal blue, isn't it?
I'd say lighter.
I would say it's lighter.
You
I'd
think?
say it's a little dark. It'd be in between Royal and Carolina, like right in that sweet spot.
Okay.
I think it's St. Gabriel's colors?
Yeah, I think it's St. Gabriel blue.
Is that what they copied it after? The Blues took St. Gabriel's colors and made them their own. Is that where we're going?
I didn't want to say that to Chris Zimmerman or Steve Chapman, but I think that's what most people are wondering.
A lot of banners.
A lot of banners.
Okay.
We just cut to the chase and call it Tim Blue.
Oh.
More, you're going to Vaughn nearly went off the dais.
Unbelievable.
Do you like the Blues' new uniforms? 89.1% say yes in the Gallup poll. On the Twitter tweets, 385 votes on that one. Sharon in Clayton is one of the people to respond, and she gave a vomit emoji, so I guess she does not
She
like
doesn't
them.
like the uniforms?
She does not.
Well, some people like things and some people don't like other things.
Think about that. 89.1% like them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Design Air Heating and Cooling Email of the Day. Keep in mind, Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio is your leader. Or no, Buck Swope is your leader by 1 over Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio and the Marlins Family Barbecue. There are a few sights more humbling than watching a true gentleman waltz into a wedding reception like he's just been unfrozen from a Tommy Bahama time capsule. And yet there he was, platinum blonde, Ellen DeGeneres haircut, pink quarter zip strangling his neck like a pastel tourniquet, white Nautica blazer draped over a glowing body like a dockside ghost, and the quiet confidence of someone who thinks the parents of the bridesmaid may offer up their precious daughters after he regales the wedding party with his big move, sharing that he's been with a woman who is now married to a man who was once with Gail Vulva 40 years ago. Sure, he was technically invited in the same way a local news anchor is technically invited to a credit union ribbon cutting for ambiance, but this didn't stop him from cornering the couple, 74 years his junior, during cocktail hour to share unsolicited advice on Cable America's big scam, his nickel parlays that Tim would appreciate, and why young people don't appreciate, quote, a well-made Buick nowadays. At one point, he clapped during the vows. At another, he asked the DJ to cue up something jazzy like Smash Mouth. Cheers to the newlyweds. That's from the Chronicles of Pockets.
Chronicles of Pockets. He's new.
Hey, guys, have you heard that helmet nacho sales have doubled during the heat wave? The South Counties and St. Charles are double fisting them to make sure their sodium levels don't get too low. It's amazing to watch, really. Anyway, Tim looks so handsome in that new hat. What would we do without him? Thanks. That's from the Bridgeton Landfill Fume Huffer.
Bridgeton Landfill Fume Huffer.
Technology is apparently difficult lately, boys. We had snafus 3 straight days, causing a panic in the YouTube chats. First, it was Friday, and we couldn't see Tim's head for the first 30 minutes. How the hell do you expect us to cope without Tim? Then yesterday, there was no YouTube TMA chat to start the show. Can you imagine how upset I was when I rolled my lazy bones out of bed and couldn't find this chat to talk jackassery with 200 of my best friends? I was a threat to society. And then today, Martin disappeared into a block of lumber for an entire segment. What the hell was going on there? I would like to compare and contrast Jackson, the chairman, running the controls. Chairman is like a caged animal back there, never sitting down, huge smile on his face when he unleashes drop after drop after drop onto the appreciative fan base. Jackie Jack sits nearly the entire time, covered up in his hoodie like an assassin waiting for the exact moment to pounce. Hopefully we get the technology figured out. Great show. Love the Blues new sweaters. That's from Jake, and he's in St. Genevieve.
Jake in St. Genevieve.
Jackson is writing a message?
Oh,
to
no,
Jake?
No, I wouldn't write anything to Jake. I appreciate his prose, though.
Tim, appreciate the outreach, but after careful review, we're going to decline Big Tank Del Vecchio sponsorship package. The pitch started with a handshake and ended with him trying to sell us naming rights to the studio ficus. We haven't seen tactics that erratic since Smokestack Benny sold ads for cocktails and conversations in exchange for cans of meat and loose teeth. Tank told us our brand would play well with your core demo of weak-wristed regional weathermen and internet comedians who post Doug atop unfunny memes 7 times a day. Hard to argue with that analysis, but not exactly a growth market we're eager to tap into. If you ever pivot to a more stable platform, or at least a listener base that doesn't believe ham is a soup and has a real Monday outside of Pancoin and Shop Inside STL credit, we're open to a chat. Until then, give our best to Tank and maybe tighten the reins on that moose before he tries to lease out your call letters to a linen bodega near Chelsea Pier. Doug, that's from Elroy, founder and floor model of Elroy's Plumbing and Erotica. Event space now open. We service drips, slips, and hips.
Okay, Elroy. Elroy, he's new.
Yeah, I guess we're done talking about Martin Kove biting a Cobra Kai co-star at some nerd convention somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Aside from Tim, it's really embarrassing how poorly versed the lots of you are on the Karate Kid franchise. MrGoodOrBad.org UK. It's in UK now?
It might have to be.
Didn't even know who Johnny Lawrence was. Nice show prep, ass. Karate Kid 1 is a legit 80s classic with Pat Morita getting nominated for an effing Oscar for his portrayal of an apartment complex handyman from a Reseda named Mr. Miyagi, who grooms the new 15-year-old boy from Jersey named Daniel, played by a 22-year-old Ralph Macchio. Daniel's nemesis, Johnny Lawrence, played by Billy Zabka, who you might remember from Just One of the Guys and Back to School, doesn't like that. Macchio's Daniel is moving in on his ex-girlfriend, Allie, with an eye, played by Elizabeth Shue. So Johnny and his fellow Cobra Kai and Encino toughs bully him during soccer tryouts to the tune of Bananarama's Cruel Summer. Martin Kove plays the Vietnam combat veteran turned karate sensei John Kreese, who during the semifinals of the All Valley Karate Tournament instructs his pupil Bobby Brown, not the guy from New Edition, to injure Daniel with an illegal kick to the knee. It appears Johnny is going to win the final by default until Pat Morita gives Daniel a magic candy that heals his knee. Okay. And then Daniel goes on to beat Johnny.
All right, that's enough.
In the final with an illegal kick to the face that for some reason is allowed because it's a Shishawali tournament. Stay tuned for tomorrow's email recapping Karate Kid Part 2.
Oh, don't need it.
With Uncle Sato.
Okay.
That's from Buck Swope DBA, the Recessed Lady's Breast. And that's what we have.
Buck
For the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. Doug, now we go around the dais and answer the question, what you got?
You got a little long there, Buck did. I'm going to go with our leadoff hitter, Chronicles of Pockets.
I agree with you, Doug. It's the Pockets Chronicles.
I didn't know Pat Morita. He legitimately got nominated for an Oscar for the Karate Kid.
Yeah, it's an apology, it sounds like, from you. I mean, goodOrbad.org/UK.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm going Buck Swope.
Chronicles of Pockets has won the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. I thought there were wonderful contenders out there today. Great to see the players playing so well in these heated conditions. Time for us to shut it down.
Did you say Design Air Heating and Cooling email?
Yeah, Design Air. I apologize.
Yeah, that rings a bell to me, and it should for you, too. If your air conditioner has problems with this heat wave coming in, you know who to call. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, proudly serving the area since 1904, more than a century of keeping homes comfortable and customers happy. They're not just another HVAC company. They're the longest-running sponsor on TMA, and that loyalty says a lot. At the helm, Seth Goldcamp, a name you can trust, leading a team that truly values integrity. At Design Air, they believe in honest work, and you will never be sold something you don't need. Whether you're dealing with the St. Louis heat or the cold in the winter, they have got your back with dependable service and no-pressure solutions. Visit DesignAirService.com. Schedule your service today. Design Air comfort you can count on since 1904, and home of the handsome repairman. Ask for Larry, the Silver Fox.
And if you're dealing with low energy and low motivation, fatigue, you're tired all the time, weight gain or muscle loss, especially belly fat, you might want to check out Mentality, because those are symptoms of low testosterone. Mentality is a local healthcare facility that specializes in helping men feel and perform at their very best, with board-certified physicians providing a full physical consultation and blood panel analysis, all during your first visit. Mentality focuses on free testosterone levels, which many doctors overlook, ensuring your treatment is tailored to your body. Energy can come roaring back, belly fat can burn off, and muscle can strengthen. It's Mentality. Is this your step settling for a fraction of your potential? Mentality's offer is your chance to take back control. Visit mentalityhealth.com/radio to find out more information, or check out mentalityhealth.com/radio for a discount. It's mentalityhealth.com/radio. Time for us to shut it down. For Jackson Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Martin Kilcoyne, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Sullivan Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA YouTube channel.